love to talk about farting.
It's very interesting discussion here.
My grandma had the walking farts. I mean,
it's farting in front of the person.
I farted the whole way down the hall.
And they are literally texting each other their poops. So.
Your shitting story has captivated me. I'm just sitting there and like so many questions are running through my mind, as I'm sure you had a bunch of questions running through your mind while someone's just dropping a massive deuce next to you.
Yeah, and to me, and y'all tell me if you disagree with this, please, but to me, ain't that what all these channels should be about? Is putting out information that you think would be useful to people. They don't have to use, if they don't want to.
Josh, I came up to have a pick a bone with you.
Oh, please. I would love to pick a bone.
Yeah. Do you always come on a show and just talk unfiltered and dirty like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the unfiltered SNR podcast.
Well, this is what I'm going to tell you is I once wore that uniform. Okay. And I have seen the light in regards to every war being a banker's war.
Like for me, I didn't realize that I was a part of the machine as a teacher. A lot of people who went into the military went in as freedom fighters. They went to fight for freedom because they were patriots and love our country.
She just came after my shit joke, but then gave props to Steve Harloha's
We now know more about what our government was doing and using them as pawns. They didn't know that at the time either.
I'll tell you what, I will let you, when I am confused and triggered, I will aim it right at you and say, you know what, you dickwad, I am confused and triggered.
Boy, it has just been some interesting topics.
No, I mean, it's just a good conversation to have.
And Steve aids and abets him.
3 times a lady.
That if you want to get a strike on YouTube as a streamer, have Ronnie on your panel.
I didn't do anything.
A micro penis group, then you're still good to go.
But I'm going to put my unsolicited 2 cents in.
I think my mom and dad used to have a contest to see who could fart the most and the loudest. So, Landon, tell us your Bobbit story or your micro penis story.
It's exactly what you think.
But you got the right one though. You can get it out, boy, we get it poppin'. Run up if you want some, you gon' have a problem.
Here. I haven't touched the window. I didn't touch the window.
I need your ID. I don't ask you.
I don't.
First, sir, you don't have ID. If you don't have ID, then I am going to detain you. And I'm probably going to arrest you for harassment. Give me your ID or you're going to be detained.
Sir?
Controller.
What law do you...
Sir, I'm asking questions now. Give me your ID. Give me your ID or I'm arrested for disorderly conduct. Want to know? Go ahead and throw 128 back to him.
Disorderly conduct for taking pictures of...
So, aloha. I wanted to cut it off there because I got so many questions just from that. But aloha, everyone in chat. We have Mike Norton from KULT News and Stacy. Welcome.
Thank you. And they're about to tie the knot here anytime now because he's waiting till he reaches 100,000 subs.
100,000.
100,000 subs. They're going to tie the knot. So everybody get in there and subscribe to him so that they go ahead and get hitched.
I have his link is pinned at the top of chat. So all you got to do is click on that pinned link. Bam.
There you go.
So I'm gonna get back to the video because I just from that 15 seconds I got so many questions. But to start off though,
like what does having showing your ID to a cop have to do with disorderly conduct? How is it disorderly conduct if you don't forfeit your Fourth Amendment rights? Oh, that's disorderly. That's America.
Right. It doesn't make sense, But why don't you go ahead and let everyone in chat know a little bit about you guys and what your channel's about?
Alrighty. Well, Stacy and I are engaged, and we've been together for what, a couple of years,
something like that.
A couple of years. We're not really keeping track how long we've been together, but we're engaged, and we started a First Amendment auditing channel that's we like to think a little bit different than the average First Amendment auditing channels out there. And we started it in June, the end of June of last year, of 2023. And in the first 6 months, we picked up 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And, I'm going to have to turn that air conditioning off, I think.
Sounds like mine does. It comes on.
Yeah. So the plan is we're getting married when we hit 100,000 views. And to clarify, I didn't say we'll get married to 100,000, or she didn't say that. It's kind of a thing we came up together. We both figured we need to put our heart and soul and a lot of effort into the channel, focus on that. And we feel like once we get to around 100,000 subscribers, then we can maybe take a very short little break, have a wedding ceremony, and then get back to work. But in a nutshell, we're in an RV and we are traveling around America for at least the next 5 years. We just started March 1st, and we're traveling around America for the next 5 years, just exercising our First Amendment right to take photos and videos in public, and we try to go to places that are interesting, places that have some historical context. And if we go to a town that doesn't have anything of any historical interest, then we try to find something. And
We like weird facts and history.
we like to tell a little story and then show people how America behaves when you aim a camera at them from public. And sadly, they lose their mind a lot. I gotta go turn this air conditioner off there real quick.
All right.
Okay.
Well, undoubtedly, the cops don't take it too good to have a camera aimed at them. I mean, from what I saw.
Yeah, they do not like that. I don't get it, because they all have cameras. Why is there? It's okay. And they let you know you're being
I'll be honest
recorded.
with you, we kind of like to, I don't want to say pick on banks, but we do, because for a couple reasons. Number one, in 2008, 2009, the banking industry borrowed like $900 billion from the American taxpayers. That money has not all been paid back. And now, first of all, they had to borrow that money because they made a lot of very foolish business decisions, which done completely out of greed, put them in a position that led to the housing crash and all that. And yet we bailed them out. They're too big to fail, apparently. So we bailed all the banks out to the tune of nearly $1 trillion. And then these same organizations, these same banks will have 2, 3, 4, 5. One time I counted 12 cameras on the outside of a bank aimed out at the sidewalk. And in fact, the bank that had 12 cameras, I look up and I'm counting all the cameras on the building. I pull out a camera and aim it at the building and start photographing the building. And within 60 seconds, the manager came outside and told me, hey, don't take pictures of our bank. Don't take pictures of our bank. If I was so inept in business that I practically ran the business into the ground, and then Uncle Sam, via the taxpayers, via Uncle Sam, are loaning me nearly $1 trillion because I screwed up so bad, I probably wouldn't want people aiming cameras at me either. Unfortunately, tough shit for them. I'm going to aim my camera at you, but it's astounding to me how often a bank manager, a lot of times these are college graduates, they're like, it's illegal to take pictures of our bank.
Bank presidents have done that.
It's like, have you lost your freaking mind? You people aren't special. You're the idiots that borrowed money from us, back in 2008 and 2009. Now what? Now you're so high and mighty, I can't photograph you. Who do these people think they are? Like Madonna or something or another. It's Lady Gaga. Don't photograph her.
But Mike, they did that with all the aid from our fantastic president at the time, Obama. So I mean, that's, if it hadn't been for him, would they have gotten that money? I don't know. Probably so.
I've gotten to the point now where I'm really disenchanted with pretty much all politicians. There's a lot of people out there. Some people out there that think that that's the Democrats, it's the Republicans. I got news for you. It's politicians in general. 99.9% of politicians go into politics, and let's say they'll make $150,000 per year. And 99% of the time, these people come out after 4 years or 6 years or 8 years, and somehow they're multimillionaires now. Yep. How does that, and I don't want to, I'm not going to pick on any, so I could pick one from the right and one from the left. Let's take people worth $8 million. I know what she gets paid, or what she got paid from the government. There's no way that woman, so either she's making her money from bribes or insider trading, or maybe both. And so I don't really trust any politicians. I think they're all
Believe
lying.
me, I don't either.
Well, I've been saying this for about 2 years now, and I still say it to this day. Is it doesn't matter if you're left or right, red or blue. The government don't give a fuck about you.
Yep, that is
absolutely.
correct. That is correct.
Absolutely true.
I think I'm gonna make that part of my merch. I think I'm gonna do that.
It has a ring to
Yeah,
it.
it does have a ring to it. I like that.
But no, I just with Obama, like you said, he came in. What was he worth? Maybe a couple of $1 million. And this ain't just him. I mean, it's a bunch of them like that.
But
They come in.
I mean, I
and
don't think you could name a former U.S. president in the last 100 years that when they came out of office, they weren't rolling in the dough. And I'm not talking like book deals they do after the presidency. They walk out of the White House and somehow they're worth tens of millions of dollars. It's like, where are you getting this money from? I know what you get paid. So it's
the only one would
disturbing.
be Trump. When he come in, I think he was worth $5 billion. He left, he was worth $2 billion. He's the only one that I know.
Damn, that much? I didn't even know that much. Wow, that's a lot of billions.
Do you have to be rich to be in that position in the first place? Do you have to go in with lots of money? It feels like it's no longer something that a lot of everyday people could attain anymore.
A lot of the founding fathers, they were youngsters. They were in their 20s.
Yeah.
You know that a lot of the founding fathers were in their 20s and early 30s when they came up with the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They were not old men with white hair in many cases. Most of them were younger people, and they put their lives on the line for this country, and now politicians are just lining their pockets for themselves, and they don't really seem to care.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I love about your channel too, is because you do the First Amendment auditing, but you also all your bonus footage. I love the bonus. I saw every one of your videos. I watched all of it, and because you're educated on history. You're way more educated than me, anyway. So I mean, I don't know if you're like a professor or whatever.
I'm a history buff, so.
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to want to be a history teacher, and in a way, I kind of can be now. I can educate a lot more people, and our goal eventually, someday, we would like to get to a point where we're doing 90% history stuff and 10%, First Amendment stuff. Whereas right now, it's more like 90 First Amendment and 10% history. I've got a passion for history, and I just think I went to Columbine High School, ironically, and over the English department at Columbine High School, they had the Santa Ana quote that said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." And that stuck with me my entire life. That stuck with me. But I've just always been a history buff, and I love the opportunity to visit historical places, meet historical people, and just finally see America for the first time in my life.
I will say
that's
though
pretty
that
awesome.
as long as America's acting this way, we feel obligated to keep the auditing part up. If things would straighten up in that arena, we could move more to history. But right now, it seems like it's really needed. The auditing part is really needed.
We were in a post office just 2 days ago, and a postal employee, the manager of the post office, actually said, "It is illegal for you to take photos in here." And Stacey's like, every time that happens, Stacey's like, "How do they not know? It's 2024. If you go to YouTube and you type in, if you go to YouTube and you type in USPS First Amendment audit, there's got to be thousands of them. How do these people not know?"
And that's crazy. Is that the video that you put out today?
Yes, it was actually. Yes.
Yep.
That was done.
Because I was at that part. I was watching that video when the internet went out. I'm like, oh, what is going on? And it was out for like almost 3 hours. I'm like,
sometimes after a while, we do kind of get almost a sixth sense to be able to tell who's actually calling the police and who's not. Like the bank folks there. They come out and immediately tell me, you can't do this. And the manager gal's like, "Oh, we're going to get them shut down." And they go inside, and about 5 minutes later, instead of cop cars rolling up,
the blinds
closed. It's like, so you almost know that they probably made a phone call there, and somebody at the police station said, "Well, have you closed your blinds?" What? I didn't think of that.
That's rare, though.
That's because you're a moron, ma'am.
The dispatchers normally though. How they usually they don't. They just send the police.
Yeah, that's true. The dispatchers rarely tell somebody, well, that's not a crime. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I was we had Flex Your Freedoms on Thursday night, and he was saying that he's like, man, I'll drive 2 hours to a location, film all day, and he's like, sometimes nothing happens, so there's no video because they already know like who we are and what we're doing, and so it makes it so it's a full-time job, man. That's like,
oh yeah, it's funny. It cracks me up whenever I see somebody make a comment, something about, oh, you don't want to get a job, you're just going for the easy money. There have been many weeks where we have put in 60 hours, and there are many times where we'll go and we're doing it for hours and nothing happens. Nobody cares. The fact of the matter is, nobody's gonna watch the video. There's no conflict whatsoever. There's nothing of real interest. Nobody's going to watch that.
right? Yep. Yeah, it's
Well,
hard.
we've had a couple guys on AlterZone, and they're all good guys. Don't get me wrong here, but
did we lose Ronnie?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I was just wondering, when y'all go out and on a whatever police call, whatever, are you confrontational, or you just kind of let it come to you, or what? How does that work?
I'm not sure if they can hear us. I think they might have cut out. Shoot. But that's what I love about his channel. He's I'll kind of answer it for him. They're not.
I didn't really think so, but most aren't.
Right.
If you got any brains, not. Can y'all hear us, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, okay. So go ahead, ask him again, Ronnie.
I was just asking a minute ago. We've had a couple of auditors on this channel here to talk to them. Are y'all the confrontational type? Do you when you go out on a call or whatever, do you confront the police? You just kind of let it come to you?
We definitely let them to us.
Yeah.
I have seen that before. I've seen some people that are really aggressive. Like if they see two police cars, they will approach. That's definitely on. We had just walking down the sidewalk, minding our own business. We're going to see if this bank here recognizes and respects our right to take photos and videos in public. So the police come to us, and typically my attitude is I give what I get. If I have a police officer come up and they're calm, cool, and collected, and they're polite, they will get calm, cool, and collected and polite back. If they're rude and disrespectful, they're going to get rude and disrespectful back. So I give what I get.
And I vouch for that because I've watched all of his videos, and that's exactly what he does.
We like it to be natural. Like, what would they naturally do? If someone just had a camera, what would they naturally do? We let them show who they are.
That's the best thing to do.
Blue moon. If I'm like, I've had times where I'm just in a little bit of a pity mood that day, and so there's been a couple of times where somebody comes out and they're like, "Oh, you can't be doing that. You can," and it doesn't take more than like 15 seconds, maybe 2 or 3 times of them that I can't, that is perfectly legal, that I've just said, listen, go fuck yourself, pal. Seriously, fuck off. Get out of my face. I understand. You come out and tell me the first time you can't do that. Ha ha, that's very funny. Yes, I can. No, you can't do that. No, seriously, I can. Leave me alone. They tell me a third time. I'm sorry. I'm an American. I'm on a public sidewalk. You, some Joe stranger coming out and telling me what I can and cannot do on a public sidewalk. If I'm even the slightest bit of a pissy mood, they're going to get a fuck off from me because it's, you push your luck. I heard you the first time and the second time. I'm still here. Get lost.
Yep. Everyone's got a line, right? There's always a line that it's like, all right, you crossed it too far.
Yeah. And here's how I feel about it. When I was raising my kids, I had listen, I'm not going to give you warn you 3 times and the 4th time be like, I'm going to count to 5. 1, 2. I don't do that shit. It's like, so if I didn't give my kids 3 chances to listen to me when they were kids, it's like, I told you once, I'm not going to tell you twice, let alone 3 times. I shouldn't have to tell a grown ass adult that walks out of a bank wearing a suit and tie yes, I can do this, and I am going to do this 3 times. So the 3rd time, I'm going to be a little pissier usually.
Sometimes they just look shocked, like they can't believe someone said no to them. They get that blank look.
Yeah, I love it when you say no to a cop when they ask for your ID. When they're like, "Oh yeah, I just need to get your ID." And I've had multiple police officers when I say, "Oh yeah, I'm not giving you my ID," their response is, and I quote, "Well, you have to." And my response to that is, and yet I'm not. What do we do now?
We go to jail, maybe.
It's that ego. They have that ego, and the idea is like crack. And if they don't get it, they're like, "You know who I am? I'm the law. You respect my authority." And it's like, no.
I told a cop somewhat recently that I said, I'd be willing to bet that 99% of the time when a police officer asks a citizen for their identification, they just hand it to them. No questions whatsoever. They just hand it to them. I'm the 1% that knows my rights. So my question to you is, do you suspect me of committing a crime? If the answer is no, then you're not getting my ID. It's as simple as that. It's the 4th Amendment, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I was watching a video this other day. This is a young female cop, and undoubtedly it was her. She's new on the force, but she stopped this guy. He was just walking down the sidewalk. That's all he was doing. She stopped him and asked him for his ID. He said, "Did I commit a crime?" And she said, "Well, not yet." She said, "But let me see your ID." He said, "If I hadn't committed a crime, why do you need my ID?" This went on and on and on. And so she finally calls her supervisor out. Her supervisor comes out, and he's saying, asking what the problem is and everything. And they're explaining it. And so the supervisor says, "You have to give her your ID." He said, "I'm not giving her my ID unless she can state a crime. What crime have I committed? I was just walking down the sidewalk."
Right.
So they argue back and forth a little bit. And the female cop winds up getting fired because she was so intent on getting his ID. They never did show what actually happened, in the video. It cut off. But that's just somebody to me that's trying to show their power, because they just got the badge and the gun.
Did you ever see the video of the man who was legally blind and he had in his back pocket a collapsible walking stick cane,
Yep.
And
I remember that one.
Back pocket, but when he pulls it out and shows it to him, it's a walking stick, it's not a gun. The conversation should have ended right there. I mean, It's like, okay, well, he's alleviated your concerns. He clearly doesn't have a gun. Nope. The cop was still adamant that nope. And he even said to him, and I love it. He said to the woman, "You some kind of a tyrant?" And she said, "Yes, I am." Yes, she was. And she forced it, and she put him in handcuffs and all that because he wouldn't give her ID. What crime did he commit? The crime of not bowing down and kissing the ring of
exactly.
Well, ain't that called contempt of cop?
Yeah, exactly. Contempt of cop, and they usually just put it under the disorderly conduct category. When they can't figure out what to charge you with, it's disorderly conduct.
When a disorderly conduct, ain't that supposed to be like where you're out starting a fight or getting into a fight or drunk and just showing your butt?
It should be, but it's a catch-all.
My behavior in Indianapolis was the dictionary definition of orderly conduct. I was on a public sidewalk photographing a historic building. There's nothing disorderly about that. But and the officer actually said to me, "If you're standing out here and you're pointing at them inside the bank and they're screaming and yelling, that's disorderly conduct." It's like, you've lost your mind. I'm outside. If I on a public sidewalk, if I just point at a bank and they start losing their minds, I'm going to jail. In bizarro world, it's just you can't make this shit up. It's crazy.
And you know what? That reminds me too, because I was thinking of this earlier. And what Ronnie was just saying, it reminded me of it. But it's like, and I've had this actually last night with a friend of mine he was live, but I wasn't on the panel. And whenever I say this, people take it the wrong way because I'm like, I think most cops are bad. And then right away they're like, "Oh, so you don't believe in law and order?" And I'm like, I never said that. I just say I think most cops are bad. And
they don't enforce the Constitution. That's what it is. They enforce the mayor's and city council's wishes.
there's something that I've said before, and I've had people at first they start disagreeing with me, but then when I explain what my definition is, all of a sudden like, well, I guess I say, in my opinion, 99% of police officers are bad cops. Now, often when I say that, the average person goes, "What? No, that's crazy. You're insane." I say, whoa. Let's say if you had 100 police officers, and they all knew that one of their brothers in arms, one of their brothers in blue, did something that was blatantly unethical and or illegal, would they report that officer? Out of 100 cops, maybe 1 out of 100 would report that officer. Maybe, I think it's actually more like a 1 out of 1,000. But let's be generous.
That I can believe a lot easier than 100.
Cops would actually report something illegal or unethical. In my opinion, if 99 out of 100 cops wouldn't report a fellow officer that was clearly violating somebody's rights, then they're all bad cops. If they're not going to do something when a bad cop does something, congratulations, you've just joined the bad cop category. So I don't think all cops would run around planting drugs on people and framing people, but I think 99% of cops would keep their mouth shut if they saw another officer framing somebody or violating somebody's rights. So that, in my book, makes him a bad cop.
Well,
and that's what I say, because I agree with here's the deal on that, because it's like if there were good cops, there wouldn't be any bad cops.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. If police officers reported other police officers who were bad cops as quickly as, say, school teachers who find out another teacher is a pedophile. Very, very rarely do you have instances where a school teacher is doing things inappropriate with children and the other teachers know about it. They just kind of keep it to themselves. That just doesn't happen. As soon as word gets out, boom. I mean, they are shunned, and it's like, we want nothing to do with you. We don't want to be associated with you. Right. But cops, it's just the opposite. It's circle the wagons. Let's protect him, and let's see how we can shield our fellow bad officers from all the bad PR.
Thin blue line, right? That thin blue line.
Yeah.
That all over the place.
Yeah, thin blue line gang. So it's
basically the same way with doctors. I mean, it's the same way with doctors. They won't tell on each other either. I mean, you can have a guy
covering each other's asses. That's true. That's true.
You can have a guy in the operating room and down on the operating table because the doctor put a whatever in his heart, and the other doctor said, no, he done everything just right. We're sitting there watching. He done everything exactly right.
Yeah, that's true. It's true that you very rarely hear about a doctor or surgeon that's reporting somebody and saying, no, the guy came in drunk.
Yeah. And you know what, here in Texas, last I heard anyway, you can't even sue a doctor now for malpractice. They might have changed it back, or whoever told them might have been a liar.
In Texas,
they changed some sort of laws regarding malpractice suits in Texas, didn't they?
Wow.
Yeah. And it's almost, you can sue them, of course, but you got to have a lot of money, and then you're not going to win, because everybody that, if it was in a surgical deal, for instance, no one's going to testify against them. So it's the same with cops. I mean, it's their professional code of conduct.
They'll have to start wearing body cams so we can follow what they do.
Right. I was gonna say, because even though, I don't care for Chili's style. I don't really at all. But what happened to him was wrong. But his idea is, I think, awesome. Their camera is always on. You can't mute it. You can't turn it off. It's that way. That's full accountability, right?
We have had multiple police officers very, very clearly turn their camera off and or mute it. Officer Tony Brown in Indianapolis. He actually went into the bank and shut his.
He did do that. Wow.
We got to get something on him. We got nothing on him. We got nothing on him right now. Next thing you know, he shuts off his camera. He shut it off for 10 minutes. 10 minutes before he came back out of that bank.
Yeah. Love to know what was said there.
Love to know what he said during
what
those
he
10
said
minutes.
when it was recording was bad enough. So I can only imagine how much worse it was when he had to shut it off to say it.
Yeah, no
I'd
kidding.
love to know.
So they can shut the cameras off themselves.
Oh yeah. They can shut the cameras. Most cops, they can shut the cameras on and off, and they can shut the audio on and off whenever they want. But they have very solid rules saying when they can and cannot shut it off and what they can and cannot shut it off for. There's certain circumstances where it is appropriate for them to shut the thing off. Like, I mean, I won't give examples, but there are appropriate times when they might be speaking with a minor or whatever the case may be. Now, me personally, I think that it should all be recorded. And then if somebody's requesting footage, then there should be a civilian panel that would be the ones to decide what can and can't go out to the general public, or civilian employees. I don't think the police should be policing themselves.
That's the worst thing in the world.
We've seen how that works. They're all just covering their own asses. And Lexington, Kentucky was a clusterfuck because we had a bad cop come out. We both immediately got a real skeevy feeling from this cop, thinking this cop is one of those kind of guys that when he can't get you for something, he starts circling around your vehicle, seeing if he can. Oh, you got a broken tail light. So this cop, rather than go inside and tell these people in a public building that we have every right to be in there, he went inside, had them pull up the security cameras outside to figure out which car we came in. Then he went to beeline to our car and circled around the vehicle looking for something to get us on.
And this was a government building. We were outside of a government building.
And then
and it wasn't even a bank or something. It was a government building.
And then when his boss showed up, his boss actually said, "Oh, he's one of our best officers." And I said, "That is horrifying." That is
boy, you about hate to see the worst.
What happened? We'll investigate it.
I was illegally trespassing public property.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I remember that one. I remember that one.
It was Louisville, Kentucky, and it was it was Louisville or Lexington.
I think it was Lexington.
Maybe that was Lexington. Louisville was a good one, but it was in Kentucky, and the officer had white hair at first, but it was at a DMV, and they sent us this, trespass. They didn't even send us a trespass order, did they? They just told us on the spot we were being trespassed. It was crazy.
And they had body cam on, and they told us later there was no
body cam footage. They had no body cam footage, but yet when I filed the complaint, all of a sudden they said, I reviewed the body cam footage, and I don't see anything they did that was wrong. It's like, so now you can find the body cam footage, but you can't find it when I'm ordering it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is corruption. Kentucky was pretty bad. So was it Louisiana? Wasn't Louisiana?
Louisiana, it was New Iberia.
Yeah, that's a video we haven't posted yet. It's New Iberia, Louisiana, where they violated my rights there. Insisted that I show them ID because apparently in New Iberia, it's illegal to walk down the sidewalk and stop. That's what they told me. Oh yeah, no, you can. You're blocking the right of way. I'm not blocking anything. I'm like, so you're telling me that? So I said I can't stop here. Yeah, you can't stop. So I'm like, all right, I'll just pace back and forth then. No. But he got a supervisor, and his supervisor came out and insisted that I give my ID, even though
on threat of arrest.
Under threat of arrest, because I stopped on the public sidewalk. So if I stop and tie my shoes, I'm breaking the law. Apparently in New Iberia, Louisiana. Yes, it is.
I was just going to say,
must be some busy sidewalks.
You got to tie your shoes, man. Jeez.
Yeah. So we've got several. We almost always have at any given time. I'm going to say 4 to 6 videos that we've done where we did the audit, but we've ordered body cam footage, we've ordered 911 calls, and we're just waiting for that stuff to come in before we actually post the video. That's one of the things that we do that's a little different than the average First Amendment auditor is we typically try to get body cam footage and 911 calls whenever possible. Another thing I do is maybe you guys have seen, I pull out my actual news mic. It says KULT News on it. And I say, I'm actually Mike with KULT News. And I'm like, that's why you're trying to violate my rights. More often than not, when the cops see the microphone come out and they were actively trying to violate my rights, they get a look on their face like, oh shit, I'm going to be on the news tonight. And then they almost always leave. So I think one of the first times he pulled out the mic, it was in a county building in Columbus, Ohio. And I had like 7 law enforcement officers around. And as soon as that mic came out, they couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Was that the one? I think I know which one you're talking about. Was that the one where you like went up the elevator or something?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
visualizing
it was one of them.
it,
Let
but
me see.
yeah.
So you might be. You're not thinking of the one where the little gal was following me around. Where there was one where I went up in the
Oh
elevator
no,
and I
that
got
was
off. There was one.
That was Toledo, right? Or
Yeah, that was
Toledo.
Toledo, Ohio, where the little gal was following me around on every
Yep,
floor.
I remember
This
that one.
one,
That one was
it was just.
newer. This,
I was in the building and working my way down the building, and I stopped on the floor where the probation department is. And
yep,
probation,
that one.
those guys
Yep.
have the biggest egos, the biggest chips on their shoulders, and probation officers are so used to people being like, yes, sir, no, sir, and just being, wanting to kiss their ring, that it really pisses them off when they say, hey, you can't go back there. And you're like, yeah, I can. And just ignore them. Hey, what's your name? I'm not telling you my name, loser. Seriously. Screw
You just see
you.
their heads exploding.
It never happens to them. They live in a world where nobody ever says no to them. And all of a sudden they get some
Yep.
guy saying no. And they're like, wait, what? Did he
What do you
say
mean
no?
no?
What do you mean no? And that's where
I have this
then, of course,
badge.
sometimes they come out and they say, well, you have to. And yet I'm not.
That was a tense one. There were a lot of police officers.
It is tense. And you got 7 cops surrounding you, and they're all telling you, you can't be where you are right now. You're breaking the law. You can't do that. And your response is, yes, I can. You're wrong. Go get a supervisor. Leave me alone. And it's, because the whole time you're thinking, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go to jail. Today's the day. I'm going to jail.
They had him circled
you know
and
what?
they had me circled. It was crazy. There were so many police officers.
And hats off to you for that, because that's a scary part for me. I've been to jail a couple times, and I don't want to go back there. So I know, like,
it's not pleasant.
you put your freedom on the line to expose all of this, and that's just, man, hats off to that. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this because I got more questions on this one. Because this was that was real quick. That was the other question I was gonna ask. So like you were saying, you wait till you get the the FOIA request stuff back and everything. But so usually, like the video today, was that like just a couple days ago that you actually filmed her? Was that like a month ago, or
that one was just a couple of days ago? And we will typically put the date that was actually filmed or recorded in the video description. I think that one was in the video description. But in that particular case, no police officers actually responded that we were aware of. And so because we had no police body cam footage, then it had to go to, was there a 911 call? Mm-hmm. Now, normally, we would just submit a request to the city and say, we would like any 911 calls that were made from this bank or this post office between this time and this time. In this particular case, I was like 95% sure that the bank manager did not. If she called the police, she didn't get the response she wanted. We're still going to make the request and see if we can get a 911 call. Right. But we just felt like at best there'd be a 911 call, and we wanted to get something out because it'd been like 9 days, 10 days since we put something out. And so I really don't like to go more than 10 days max between videos. If I had my druthers, we would put out a new video about every 3-4 days. Yeah. So we have done it before. We've done it before where it was kind of a perfect storm. We just had a lot of body cam footage come in. We had a lot of departments that were responding. Minneapolis took 4 full months to give us the body cam footage. But like Athens, Ohio, we had it in less than 24 hours. So it's amazing to me how one department is so competent and so good at getting that footage out there. And then another department is like Columbus, Ohio. Those losers couldn't find their butts with both hands. And if you get body cam footage from Columbus, Ohio in less than 6 months, it is because God himself has come out of the heavens and touched you with his finger. They are grossly incompetent in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, they are.
Oh, yeah. I know a lot about Columbus, too.
You'd think that would have a lot to do with the police chief or whoever's running it, at the time. Chief or the lower down, whatever.
I know the mayor's worthless. Ginther. They call him Giveaway Ginther because he's given the city of Columbus away to multi-billion-dollar companies that don't give a rat's ass about the character of the city itself. They only care about making money. And Ginther's more than happy to hop in bed with those people. So we're not impressed with Mayor Ginther of Columbus, Ohio,
or the police department.
or the police department.
It's terrible.
Well, do y'all think, Mike, that the police they're really there to enforce the laws of the mayor and the city council, and because most of them know nothing about the Constitution? So I mean, if you start quoting the Constitution to them, they're totally lost.
Yes.
But it seems to me like that they're there to enforce the laws. That's why they're called police. They're policy men, not, they're there to enforce policy.
They're well, a lot of them they're not so much law enforcement these days. They're feelings enforcement. They're policy enforcement. They seem, in many cases, they seem to be enforcing just about anything but the law. So I like to ask them sometimes, just point blank, listen, whoa, are you feelings enforcement or are you law enforcement? I'm sorry that the woman inside the building behind the bulletproof glass with all the cameras aimed at me feels uncomfortable or unsafe, but she's the one with the bulletproof glass, and she's got 2 cameras for every one that I have. No, I'm sorry, she's got 4 cameras for every 1 camera I have. So if I say, I feel uncomfortable, officer, are you going to go in there and ask that gal for her ID and hassle her? Of course not. It's just, I'm outside, and they're the corporation. So
it just seems to me, that if they can use their cameras where it's on a bank or a government building or whatever, then we ought to be able to use our cameras to film them.
Right. Absolutely. That's why I always crack up when people will point it out, like, well, you got 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 cameras right there, and like, that's for security, and it's like, so is this my security? I document everything I do.
Yeah, no shit.
I told her to turn her cameras off, and she says, "No, those are for our security." And so I said, "Oh yeah, this is for my security."
Yeah.
And in Indianapolis, the officer there blatantly went into the bank and said, "How did this make you feel?" Like, he came right out and said it. How did this make you feel? And he wanted to write that in the report. It's like, you came right out and said, "Your feelings police. What are you doing? How did we get here? How did we get here?"
Yeah. And I've seen so many videos too of other auditors where they'd get the body camera footage back, and when they'd be being, I think even one of your videos had it, Mike, when they were really cool to you and everything, but then when they went inside and they're talking, and then they go, "Well, unfortunately, we can't do nothing about it." It's like,
we've had several times where an officer is they're really, really courteous and nice with us, and they just don't think about the fact they're wearing body cams, and my guess is 99% of the time people that they're dealing with don't request their footage. But I love catching a cop being nice and polite and sweet to me, and as soon as they turn their back, they're like, "Yeah, this asshole over here won't give me his ID." Like, "Oh, I see how it is. Okay."
Well, do you admit though that you're an asshole? I mean, you got to admit something here now. Are they right about you?
That's So I got no problem admitting that I'm an asshole sometimes. So.
I guess the next question is, Stacy, have you went to jail with him, or did they let you go, or how does that work when y'all are out together?
Typically, I am the hidden camera, almost always. So most of the time, they don't they get the footage, and if there's another person, and who was that? At the time, I'm not in that kind of a position most of the time.
Yeah. Interestingly, in Indianapolis,
you gotta have somebody get him out of jail.
She's got to get out of jail. In Indianapolis,
take care of our dog.
they have a law in Indianapolis currently. I believe it is, and I think it is making, this law itself is making its way through the courts as far as being deemed. They have a law that says that if a police officer is with somebody and you're watching whatever, that you need to be 25 feet away from him at his request or something to that effect. So if an officer tells you you need to back up, now in this particular case, Stacy was further than 25 feet away from this jackass, but he did actually in Indianapolis. He threatened to arrest her. He said something to the effect of, I got another pair of handcuffs. I can help you out, because he told her.
He's like, "Are you a part of this, or are you not a part of this?"
Yeah, he told her to back up, and she asked for his badge number, and he got pissy with her and saying, "You don't have the right to be asking me questions." And she's like, "I got a right to walk down a sidewalk and ask anything I want. You don't have to answer, but yeah, I got the right."
He did threaten me with handcuffs.
He threatened her with handcuffs. He'd go get a pair of handcuffs.
I've never heard a cop fail to give his badge number. If you ask for him,
all the time,
several times.
All the time. I just seen Hey Ronnie, I just seen one this morning, Long Island audit, and he was this lady's, and he's like, "I'm just asking who you are," and she never said who she was, even though it's their policy.
Somebody used the line one time that I loved, and I've actually stolen a couple of times, and it really, it's kind of a gut punch to some people when you say it. And that, I'll say, when an officer refuses to identify themselves, sometimes I've said, listen, I'm of the opinion that you're either ashamed of your name, or you're ashamed of your behavior, or you're ashamed of the name your daddy gave you. So which one is it? And that, I mean, it's like, whoa,
They get very upset.
yeah, and I hate to say it, but it seems, I've had a couple people write in and say that it felt racist when I was saying it, because there's been at least 2 occasions where I've said that, and I happened to say it to a black man. And I don't know if it was the use of the word daddy or what, but
he says it to
yeah,
white guys too, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it to the white guys, I've said it to the black guys. I really don't care. That's the other things that somebody.
But have they ever accused you of being
I call
racist?
people brother a lot. Like if a security guard comes out, I'm like, hey, what's going on, brother? And I had somebody write in and say, oh, that's racist. You're calling a black man brother. It's like,
says that to white guys too.
I say it to white guys. I say it to black men. I call women sister all the time. White woman, black woman.
Me too. That's funny. I mean, I think it's in like every text message between you and me is I always have brother. Same with Ronnie. I always put brother, and then sister, like Independent Men United.
Me
Aloha.
too. I mean, it's just
I always say
the way-
aloha, sister.
Yeah, it ain't definitely. It's if anything, it's meant as a compliment. As far as I'm concerned,
I agree. I agree. It says you're putting them on the same level as you. Listen, brother. I got. So I was going to say you mentioned Long Island audit. Sean Paul Reyes is actually, he was the First Amendment auditor that I really kind of caught my attention. It was probably about 2.5 years, maybe 3 years ago, that I came across one of his videos, watched it, loved it, watched another one, and then you know how it is. If you watch an auditor and you see a couple of their videos and you like it, you'll go back to the very beginning and watch every single audit they've ever done. And that's what I did with Sean. And when I finally watched every single video he ever put out, the next one I went to was Amagansett Press. And I went to the beginning and just watched every single video that he did. And so now I think we're on, let me see, we've got
Bay Area
Transparency. Love the guy. Denver Metro Audits. He has a style that's slightly different than mine that as an auditor, when you're watching other auditors do stuff, oh, there you go. There
it is.
As an auditor, when you're watching other auditors do stuff, I know that they do it to me. There's been many times where I'm watching something and going, oh my God, I would not do that. I would not do that. And when Denver Metro Audits got arrested, honestly, me personally, in that particular situation, I don't believe I would have gone to jail that day, because I would have just clarified with the officer, to make no mistake whatsoever. You're telling me if I don't stop photographing and leave this public area, you're going to arrest me. Crystal clear, right? Yes. Okay. Good enough. I'm out of here. And I think
because they've been unlawful.
I think I've done that before. But there's some instances where it's so egregious. It's so over the top. Like, this is complete bullshit. And I'm sorry, I'm going to draw the line right here. And I'll tell you right now, I will go to jail before I bow down to your unlawful demands. And that was Indianapolis. I knew full well. I even said to Stacy before he came back out, I said to somebody who's passing by too, I said, my words, in about 5 minutes, this cop's gonna violate my rights. I told this guy passing by, you should start recording, because this shit's crazy. It's gonna violate my rights. I saw it coming a mile away, and I knew full well I'm going to jail today. But you have to. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in a public library where they got their policies. I wasn't, I was on a goddamn public sidewalk taking photographs of a historic building, and a pig tells me I can't stand right here. Oh, you can stand 15 feet over here on the public sidewalk,
right?
But you can't stand on the public sidewalk right here. And to me, that was 100% ego of Sergeant Illiterate Tony Brown, and I stood my ground. And I'd do it again. In fact, I had done it again. We went back there very recently and audited and did a follow-up in Indianapolis. And you bet your ass I went straight to that bank and audited outside of that bank, and they shut those blinds so
So there were no signs around there anywhere, Mike, saying no standing, sitting, spitting, waiting, or nothing.
Nope.
Nothing.
That's it right
nothing.
there.
Nothing at all. No. What's the term they use?
So he made that up on the go.
It was bullshit.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Oh, yeah.
touristy area.
I mean, it's a touristy area. That bank is literally a block and a half away from like the Circle Center, this huge mall.
And the big monument.
There is tons of foot traffic around there. When we went down there just recently, it was a rainy day and there was tons of foot traffic around there. So it's a very, very busy, active, social, tourist area.
Photogenic.
Very photogenic as well. And it was just the people inside the bank didn't want me outside on the sidewalk aiming my camera at the bank. It was simple as that. And so rather than just go with the law, he chose to be the feelings police. And that's the one where the cop walked in and actually said to the banker, how did that make you feel? And he's like, oh, well, concerned. I guess we were concerned. Maybe he was like,
and he's like,
the banker said, we were concerned that maybe he was casing the joint. Those are his words, casing the joint. Like, dude, you watch way too much
that's
TV.
what bank robbers
Somebody's going to
do,
be standing
right?
outside a big bright blue coat with multiple cameras in broad daylight, casing the joint. You're a moron.
It was the perfect.
That's how bank robbers do it, man. They just go out there they show their face.
Be right back, guys.
Oh, okay. They show their face and everything, and they have all these cameras and the setup, and they're like, well, yeah, we're getting ready to rob this place later. We're not being.
There's not much money in things.
Yeah, it defies. I mean, if I'm going to go out and rob a place, first of all, I'm not going to be doing that. I do have a mask on or something, but it'd probably be one of those, medicinal marijuana stores. They're loaded, man. People are paying in cash in there because all they deal with is cash, and they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory in there. You could take the cash and the inventory. So, banks. Nobody robs banks anymore, for God's sakes. The bank could be like, we have $4,000 here in the drawers. Can we just give you like a card with an ATM, like a debit card?
Yeah, use the ATM card. But I'm going to play a little bit of this to give some of our audience, some that don't know who you are. I know quite a few in here do know who you are, but those who don't, this is what. So this one happened, what, about a month ago?
No, this was
November.
This would have been November, the end of November.
Oh, that okay.
Sir, that's on you. Do you want to do that or not? Tell me now. So I'm gonna help you out because I'm tired. Because I asked you a minute ago
I'm prepared
to leave.
You're
steer. Thank you.
I'm prepared to go to jail. All right, there you go.
Nope.
Just like that. That's what you were just saying.
I'm taking all your equipment. Let's go. Yep. Yes, sir. I know you are. Raise up. Move your hand. You're harassing these people inside. I asked you to move a long time ago.
Public sidewalks.
Only person I see being harassed is you, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
And the funny thing is the employee inside the bank walked up to the glass and was yelling at me at the glass, and I couldn't hear him. And I said, "What?" I said, "I can't hear you." And he went like this, and he said, "Can you hear that?" And I actually, the funny thing is, I couldn't hear what he said, but I could read his lips. And I go, "Oh, I heard that." So it's just ironic that he's inside filming me, photographing me, and flipping me off, and that's perfectly fine. But if I'm outside on the sidewalk, on the public sidewalk, then all of a sudden I'm committing the crime.
Right. The hypocrisy just blows my mind. Like, you can't do that. We're calling the cops. Hold on, I'm going to do exactly what you were doing.
And worse, I wasn't flipping him off.
Right. Yeah. That's what I love about your style too, and plus how Stacy kind of hangs back with the purse and the hidden camera, so it's like a backup,
Yeah, most of the time, the footage of Stacy, that they literally, the police, the people we're dealing with, they have no idea that she's there. Usually across the street or something or another recording, but she has gone inside a few places and was hiding the camera inside in her purse and stuff, where they have no idea until they actually see the video online. They're like, "Oh shit, there was another camera out there."
Right. That's because maybe 6 months ago when I first found your channel, and the first couple of videos I watched, I was always like, who's this other person? Because there's got to be another person with them.
You're watching, all of a sudden there's a second camera angle. You're like, what the hell?
Right. So then the more I watched, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, but let's see.
Yeah,
what
I
else
know
here.
you are.
It's not harassment.
You
Stand on the public sidewalk.
you're harassing people inside. You up there at the window. I asked you not to
I
do
didn't touch
that.
the window.
The people already caught on you. This is a bank.
By me.
They're scared
Scared.
of you being outside taking photos. Any man in the world would understand
Not
that.
against the law.
But you.
Not
Any
against the
man
law.
in the
Disorderly
world would
conduct is
understand that.
actually.
Stand on a public sidewalk.
That's okay. I don't care, sir.
All
I
right.
don't care. Cause you act like I asked you for ID. Where your ID at? Put your hand behind your back.
Wow.
That's great.
It's almost like he's getting off on that. Like he's just, but I have a quick question though.
Yeah.
Did it hurt when he asked you?
That's actually a pet peeve of mine as well. No, but he did put the handcuffs on a little tight.
And it was freezing
Oh,
cold
yeah,
that night.
Please don't axe me, officer. Please don't axe me.
Public disturbance.
Right.
Right. I don't want you to hurt me. I don't consent to any searches, sir. I'm not resisting arrest. There you go. All right.
And this is when he.
Disturbing the peace for
That's
taking photos
Stacy,
on a
isn't
public
it?
sidewalk.
What's that?
Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
I
Do you have any weapons?
I have
Yeah, you see Stacy.
pepper spray and
When he's getting arrested, I go ahead and do that.
Okay.
So I can get footage. I don't stay hidden.
Astounding. Indianapolis arresting journalists for taking photos on public sidewalks.
Sir, you can't be a journalist because you at least
Oh, I'm a
understood.
journalist. Hundreds of thousands of people will see this video. Sir.
Okay, I'm happy they do, sir. But I'm tired of asking you the same thing over
Yeah,
and
don't
over
stand on the
again.
public sidewalk taking
Don't
photos.
get away from the window. You're 2 feet from the window. I asked you that like
I'm
2
standing
feet
you
from the
walked
window.
over there was great.
Stand
But
on
then
the
you
public
came
sidewalk.
back and
And
you
I
just
asked
won't
earlier what
leave.
part of the sidewalk I can't stand on. You didn't answer that. Public sidewalk. Public sidewalk. Oh, is she gonna get hurt too?
Yeah, I'm getting everybody here. Everybody got a camera. I always do that
Yeah.
because I can call her for a witness.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
always
I like
do
witnesses.
that.
Man, stick around. You want to be a witness for this, trust me. Violating my rights and taking photographs on a public sidewalk.
No, but you was taking photographs of the bank all up in the
Against
window.
law, taking photographs.
Yeah, and you're harassing the people inside because when I came up here, you was
Taking
arguing with
photos.
the people in the
No,
window.
I asked the man, well, what did
No.
you say? I said, I got it all on
Yeah.
video.
I get it. I understand.
What, you're a sergeant?
Yeah,
Sergeant
yeah.
what?
Everybody's smarter than everybody else.
What's the badge number?
What's your badge number? So do you have a badge number?
You already know my name. You know
No,
who
can I
name.
get your badge number, please?
Ma'am, you're not being arrested, so you can go on.
Oh, you might be arrested.
No, you're not. Go on, ma'am. You're not being arrested.
Am I not allowed to photograph
No,
you?
you're allowed to photograph, but you got to be over there. You can talk all you want.
Why do
gotta
I have
answer
to
you.
be over there?
Ma'am, I don't have to. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because I'm asking you to back up.
Oh,
I'm
he
asking
just
you to back up. See, this is where y'all
right
keep
there.
forgetting. I'm asking you to back up. Now, are you part of this arrest?
No, I am.
I'll get some other handcuffs. I'll help you. Are you part of it? No. Quit
Wow.
interfering.
No, I'm taking footage.
Quit it. You can record all you want.
He's gonna arrest her.
I know I
You
can.
don't have no right to ask.
No, wait a minute. He just said that you can record all you want while he's arresting you for recording.
No, he's recording me for disorderly conduct.
Oh well, yeah, they like
It's so
using that or
stupid. It's so
resisting,
stupid.
right?
It is.
He knew
Yeah.
full well what he was doing was wrong. He knew it. But he didn't care. He didn't care. He knew I may beat the charge, but I can't beat the ride. And it's just his little dick move of being like, even though I'm not gonna, they're not gonna find him guilty. He knew they wouldn't get me on this. It didn't matter. He got
Yeah.
his way of imprisoning me and taking away my freedom for 24 freaking hours.
It was going to be longer.
It was going to be longer. It was going to be 3 days until Stacy's on the phone to them calling the jail going, I don't know what the hell's going on. She finally figured out they got the wrong dude. I mean, they had a guy with a Michael with a middle name. It was like Michael Wayne Norton, and born in April of '68, and they had the wrong birth date, wrong middle name. They switched it to that wrong name after I'd been in jail for hours and hours. They had my driver's license. I went in and gave them all my information while I was in jail. They knew exactly who I was, down to the point where they had my identification, and they switched it in the system and said, okay, instead of the correct Mike Norton, let's go ahead and tack this other Mike Norton that has a warrant for his arrest in Indianapolis. Let's tack him on here. We'll say it's that Mike Norton. That'll tie him up in jail for 2 more days till he has to see the judge on Monday. It was bullshit is what it was. And then Stacey called him up and was bitching. And finally they're like, she's like, you have the wrong person. And they finally compared fingerprints between me and this Michael Wayne Norton, born in April of '68. And they're like, oh, crap, we got the wrong person. And she's like, you think? I've been trying to tell you that for 12 hours now.
The point is,
But even it's like they get off on that. Like even there he was when he walked towards Stacy like that and puffed his chest out and.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, did you notice he said on that as he's walking towards her, and you don't seem to be listening. I asked you to stand over there. It's like, wait a second. That's just it. You asked. You didn't demand. You didn't order. He didn't say, ma'am, the law requires you to stand right over there. If he'd have said that, she wouldn't have argued with him. But he's like, just move on. He was asking for a personal favor. He didn't want to be recorded violating my rights. So he's asking this woman who he did not at the time know was with me at all. He knows now, obviously, but at the time he had no idea who she was. But he was certainly willing to threaten her with arrest for photographing from a legal distance from him. That's another part of the complaint we've got with Indianapolis is, this cop's out of control, man. He's threatening anybody that gets near him with a camera. So, yeah, that was something else. I'm still burning up about Indianapolis because those sons of bitches, they haven't paid yet. But I assure you, Indianapolis is not skating on this shit because I don't lose my freedom for 24 hours and get zero compensation for it. So, yeah.
Right.
To clarify, I know some people think incorrectly, of course, but some people think that, all these guys do is run around and they try to get their rights violated so they can sue. There's no First Amendment auditor that wants to, let alone tries to do that because it's a hassle. It's expensive. Just getting an attorney that's competent, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars to defend yourself against ridiculous charges that you're going to beat. But by the time you beat them, you've paid $4,000 or $5,000 for an attorney and all this bullshit just to beat the charges. They're not giving you a refund of that money. They're going to say, oh, hey, sorry, since we dropped the charges, here, how much did you pay? We'll go ahead and reimburse you. You got to grab that and get that money out of them as they're, it's like they're holding on to it with their cold, dead hands. But common sense says if a bad cop violates your rights and you lose your freedom for hours, that should be worth something. And the city should be willing to negotiate quickly to resolve the situation amicably and to the satisfaction of all parties without having to be threatened with lawsuits and drug into court just to do what eventually they're going to have to do. The city of Indianapolis is absolutely going to pay me. The question is, are they going to incur a lot of time, money, and hassle in the process, or are they going to do the right thing now? We'll find out soon enough. I'll tell you that.
Well, did they charge anything you to jail, Mac, or did
I'm sorry?
Did they charge anything?
They dropped the charges. The charges were dropped basically the next morning.
So you didn't have to pay anything to get out of jail.
And the judge actually, and then the day after that, I spoke with the judge, and the judge literally apologized. He didn't. It wasn't like a formal thing where it was like, on behalf of the city of Indianapolis. It was just basically, I'm really sorry that happened to you. The judge knew it was a ridiculous horseshit charge. He knew exactly what happened, and there's a reason why the prosecutor's office is like, we're not going to prosecute him for that. He's standing on a sidewalk taking pictures, for God's sakes. Where's your evidence of harassment? Who is he disturbing? He's on a public sidewalk. So they very quickly and wisely dropped the charges. But now they're
that's like we had Flex Your Freedom on Thursday night, and he spent close to $30,000 and still had to do 10 days in jail. Because it's that so don't go if you go to Iowa, just be very careful.
I'm telling you, that's why and we read the posts that people making. I mean, not posts, comments people make in the comments. So we are very, very open to constructive criticism. I'm just saying how to say this. I wanted to to dispel some common myths about, I think, First Amendment auditors. One is that it's easy money. Oh, it's easy money. It's a lot of work and a lot of time. And if you're looking to do a job successfully, where you're going to have a successful, I mean, and keep in mind, we've been doing it for like eight months, and we've got, I don't know, almost 60,000 subscribers in 8 months. But you got like Amagansett Press, Long Island Audio, you're looking at 400,000, 500,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That is nobody gets to 500,000 subscribers by working 15, 20 hours a week, real casual type of thing. I'll go out and I'll just aim my camera. People lose their minds. I throw it on the internet and people throw me money. It just doesn't work that way. It's a lot of work. And we kind of agreed that the only way that we could get to the level of an Amagansett Press or Long Island Audit when it comes to maybe not style per se, but just raw numbers of followers and subscribers, the only way we could get there is to hit the road and get out there and show the world what America is like. And that's what I love about Amagansett Press and Long Island Audit. Long Island Audit, contrary to the name, he's not just in the New York area. The dude all over the freaking country.
Yeah.
And Amagansett Press as well. And, that, I think, gives a fair representation that looking across the country, most Americans are ignorant to their basic, raw constitutional rights. The very first freaking amendment, most Americans clueless.
It's disturbing.
And I actually something though, Mike, that people are wanting to understand these things. That's why you have such high subscribers, and the other guy you was talking about 400,000 subs. People are wanting to learn, and plus I think people are concerned about their cops.
I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for Long Island Audit and Amagansett Press, KULT News would not exist. It's as simple as that. Those two specifically were the two that I watched every single solitary video, and only after watching hundreds of their videos was I like, you know what, I think I could do this, and I think I have a unique spin on it and make it. And then when I met Stacy, because even before I met Stacy, I was very much like, I want to do this. I want to have a First Amendment channel. When I met Stacy and got to know her, I was like, this is fantastic, because what she adds to the channel, I can't overstate enough how key Stacy's involvement is in the channel. I am the face of KULT News, and I'm the one people see mostly, but like, she decides where we're going. I mean, she does our itinerary. 9 times out of 10, if I'm standing in front of a building recording it, it's because days or weeks before, she was like, and we're going to go to this place, and we're going to go to this place. So she's really, for all purposes, I'm a trained monkey. A trained monkey could do what I do. Just got to go out there, and take pictures and stuff, and tell somebody else, hey, get that monkey off the sidewalk. So there's a lot of moving parts to a successful YouTube channel in general. Forget this First Amendment. There's a lot of moving parts to a successful YouTube channel. And Stacy is the main cog that has all the other cogs turning. So yeah, her
I pay him to say that.
So you're Stacy is a producer, director.
So she pays me to say. I mean, I've tinkered with other ideas and doing things, but Stacy, if anything, if I had my druthers, she would play a much larger role. I would love to see Stacy be the one up front, dealing with the cops and the bankers and all that, just to see how people would, how they would treat her differently.
Than you, Mike, so she might be able to get away with some of this stuff.
I'm curious if people would be more aggressive because it's this pretty little blonde gal, or if they would be more timid because, oh, she's harmless. It's just this little.
I think both would happen. I think it's some people that were very aggressive would just think they could be put more over on me. And then I think some people too would give me more of a pass because I don't look very threatening, so they may not, I don't know. It would be a mixed bag personally, but it would be fun to explore. It's something that we're looking at.
There was nothing I would love
it's not
Stacy
fun.
saying to a cop. I was just saying, I'd love to see Stacy saying to a cop who asks her ID, Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
I've had cops come right up to my face and get very aggressive. You know, they feel like they can put more over on me, I think. So it would be interesting.
The intimidation, yeah, they try to use the intimidation to.
Yeah.
Well, most times they're not quite as not quite as ready to arrest a woman as they are a man. I mean, they'll arrest a man just for looking.
I agree. I think it would be. I think it would take more. I don't think Sergeant Brown would have arrested her if it was her on the camera in Indianapolis instead of me. Yeah, I was going to tell you, I did say something funny to a cop the other day. I thought you guys would get a kick out of. You'll see it in an upcoming video. I said to a cop, "No, Mama always said police are like a box of chocolates. They'll kill your dog."
And they will. And they kill your
dog. So that's an upcoming video. I might have to use that one on cops more often because it cracked me up.
Did you laugh?
I don't think he laughed. I don't think he found that very funny. I also like it when I tell the cops, "Hey, I don't know if you got a big drug problem in this town." This is something I just started doing recently because I thought it was funny. I said, "I don't know if you have a big drug problem in this town, but a guy right over there just tried to sell me a little Coke." Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I bought it from him, but I'm not quite sure how to open this. I'm not quite sure how to open this thing. So
that's very little cocaine.
But it's just a little Coke though.
It is just very little.
That's great.
He says that's
I
all
love
kinds and all used. Some of them.
Yeah, I've said that to some cops though, and they don't even crack a smile.
No.
See,
what is the absolute most interesting place y'all have been to?
Ooh,
oh my gosh.
Most
they froze up a little bit.
place.
There you go.
For rotten cops and stuff like that.
Oh, geez. Or if you start throwing that factor in, that'd have to be Columbus, Ohio. Well,
Columbus.
I mean, I would have to say, collectively speaking, I'd have to say the cops are the worst in honestly, and keep in mind, we lived in Columbus, Ohio for a year and a half. So if anything, we would be biased in favor of Columbus. We love Columbus, mind you.
Many things about Columbus.
Many things about Columbus we love, and we love many things about Ohio. But make no mistake, in our experience, the police in Columbus, Ohio, were probably collectively speaking the laziest. They don't want anything. When the police said a man's been preying on my 11-year-old daughter, and this man's convinced my daughter to send him inappropriate pictures, the cops show up and say, "Hey, we could charge your daughter with distribution of child pornography." And he's like, "What? She's 11 years old." And the cop's like, doesn't matter. And that was a lady cop. You would think of anything a lady cop wouldn't. Can you imagine that? Your 11-year-old daughter is being preyed on by some pervert online. She's like, "Daddy, I know it." And you take your kid's phone and you realize your 11-year-old daughter is sending inappropriate photos of herself to this man.
Being groomed.
You call the police. It's
grown
16 police in Columbus, Ohio. Tells us what happened and said, if you guys can come down here and maybe take a report on this guy and get his information and talk to my daughter and tell her how serious this is. 6 hours later at midnight, the cops show up, and a lady cop, first thing she says to the man is, "Well, we can charge your daughter with distribution of child pornography." And just with a straight face, too. And he's like, "What? She's 11 years old." And the cop said, "Doesn't matter." And he just said, he was far nicer than I would. I'll tell you right then, I would have let out a barrage of curse words and probably threatened physical abuse. I would have been like, "Officer, if you're not off my porch in 5 seconds, I will personally break your fucking jaw."
So bad.
5, 4, 3. I mean, I would be so furious if that happened. And this guy said, he'd have shut the door in their face as he said, "Have a good night." Well, that made national news, and it made Columbus police look like, well, I would say make them look like shit. It made them look as a perfect representation of the Columbus, Ohio Police Department. Just
well, let me get this straight. I'm
lazy. They don't want to do their jobs, and there's no problem in Columbus, Ohio that cannot be made worse by calling the police. So Columbus, Ohio probably takes the cake.
So this girl, this little girl, this little girl, 11-year-old, was she being solicited by somebody to send those pictures, or how did it all start?
A grown man.
Yep, some grown man. Granted, my opinion, I don't know. I don't think 11-year-old kids necessarily need their own cell phones and internet and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. There's millions of 11-year-old girls that are on the internet. We can't deny that. So yeah, some pervert in some other state or something or another was trying to groom this 11-year-old girl and preying on her and convinced her to send him naked or semi-naked photos. And her father found out about it and lost his freaking mind. And as any father did, he immediately called the police, and the police came out and made it worse.
And made it worse like they always do.
Arrest her.
What's
more or
that?
less threatened to arrest her. They more or less threatened to arrest the girl.
Because they didn't want to do their fucking job. So it's like, what's the
That's
easy
like
thing?
that.
Let's just threaten this.
That's
this
worse than
kid-
somebody
kid-
robbing you and saying, then the cops saying, I'm going to charge you for being robbed.
Right. Yeah. Like you getting robbed and then you get arrested for getting robbed. Exactly.
And we were in Columbus, Ohio long enough, and we keep in mind we started this back in June. And although all of our audits certainly weren't just in Columbus, we audited enough in Columbus, Ohio to see that it's a clusterfuck. It's pretty bad in Columbus, Ohio. So as far as to Ben, we both absolutely love Savannah, Georgia, and while in let me see, what else was there?
Mayberry.
Charleston, was it? Yeah, Charleston, South Carolina was pretty cool. Mount Airy, North Carolina. That's Mayberry. That's where that's where the Andy Griffith Show. I mean, the fictional town of Mayberry on the Andy Griffith Show is Mount Airy.
Yeah.
That's
where he grew up.
That's where he was born and raised.
Yeah.
In fact, they got a great Andy Griffith museum there, and Andy Griffith, to this day, Andy Griffith, and the fact that Mayberry was Mount Airy is the source of a huge amount of money that still to this day is poured into that community.
Right. For tourists.
And they've got more interesting history. Like a lot of people don't know that Chang and Eng bunker, the original Siamese twins from the 1800s, they're in the Guinness Book of World Records. They married a couple of sisters. They married a couple of sisters. They had 21 children. Well, they retired before they married these sisters. They retired from a life of show business to Mount Airy, North Carolina, where they met and married these two sisters and had 21 kids. So in and around Mount Airy, North Carolina, there are at least 1,500 direct descendants of Chang and Eng bunker, including the
whole town,
the managing director. The managing director of one of the big museums there in town. She's oversees the Andy Griffith thing and the Arts Council, all that, and they're building a Siamese Twins museum in Mount Airy, right across the street from the Andy Griffith Museum, and we kind of got a sneak peek of that one in our Mount Mayberry audit, and it's going to be really neat. They're building some really cool things in Mount Airy.
Aren't they the ones, the two Siamese twins that they could have been separated? The doctors wanted to do it, but they said they could do it successfully, but they wouldn't let them because they'd been together so long.
It could be.
I'm thinking, if memory serves me correctly, I think it could have been possible for them to have been separated at one time because they had like a band of. They had one big thing up here. It seems like they could have, but I think they didn't want to take the chance. I think that was a big thing. They're like, by the time offers like that to separate them came along, they were so used to it. It was like it would be it doesn't bother me. It's my brother. Why I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they figured, why risk our lives for something that's a maybe when we're perfectly content? And frankly, because of this band, that's why a lot of people don't know this. This is at the time of Lincoln too. They were far more well traveled than Abraham Lincoln. They traveled all over the world. They'd seen kings and queens all around the world and presidents because they could do a backflip together, for God's sake. A backflip.
Wow.
That's true. So they were very personable men who made a living being very unique, and they turned the whole freak show thing to their advantage and lived a very happy, lengthy life with a buttload of kids.
Can you imagine?
I got a question about and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was you when I think it was when I first started watching, but correct me if I'm wrong, but Findlay, Ohio. You've done in Findlay, Ohio, right?
We did,
We
but
did. I know we went to Findlay and did an audit there. Which one was it? Was that the one where the guy came out? Was that the pizza shop where the guy came out and
the pizza shop guy?
Was that the pizza shop guy?
What's the question?
Well, Mike, I just want to know what you thought about Findlay, because I was born and raised in Detroit, but then when I was like 15, 16, maybe 17, I lived in Findlay, Ohio for like a year and a half.
Gotcha.
And
It's a university
I hated it. I actually missed Detroit.
It's a university town, right? And a lot of horses and
Yeah.
things. I have a niece who graduated from that university. I don't remember that particular audit, but I remember that Findlay seemed like a nice little town, you know.
Right. Well, no, it is a nice town. I think it's because I was younger and I was used to Detroit. I was homesick or whatever. Like, I want to go back to Detroit, but
yeah, it's definitely.
But no, it is a college.
Yeah. It would be way chiller than Detroit, way smaller. It would probably be a shock, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because not nearly as much stuff to do for sure.
Right.
He had to plug that in.
But yeah, I may have been wrong if it was you guys or not, but I thought maybe you guys had one in Findlay, but like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. I could have been wrong.
Yeah, the towns that we go to and are in, after a while they kind of blur together. There have been multiple times just over the last month or so that I wasn't sure. Like I'd wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, what state are we in? What today was one of those days. When I woke up this morning, I literally had to think for a second. Now, where am I? Oh, Dallas. That's right. Okay. But yeah, just a couple of days ago, I forgot what state I was in because.
Well, I hope y'all do a deal on the Dallas police. I mean, I don't know anything about it because I don't live there, other than what I hear on the news. But I've heard there's some pretty rotten things going on in Dallas too.
Well, I'm hoping to be able to do a full audit. We did do some stuff in Dallas today, but it was really just more B-roll footage stuff, the school book depository and what have you out there. So we haven't officially audited in Dallas yet. We've been here for a couple of days. Yesterday it rained like freaking Noah's Ark was going to be floating by. It was crazy. All day long we had rain.
Sure did.
But, we might extend a little bit. I really do want to do some auditing in Dallas itself.
Yeah, we want to catch a few places in Texas.
And I hope if we do, I hope you're wrong about what's going on with the police here. I hope that the police in Dallas are competent and respect our rights. Well, we may find out soon.
I haven't heard anything in the past year or something like that, but I mean, there have been some weird things happen in Dallas. Not weird, but unlawful things, I would say.
Yeah.
Police shooting people that shouldn't have been shot, things of that nature.
You hear some crazy stories, man. Somebody has like a white plastic fork and the cop shoots him. I thought it was a gun.
Yeah.
What? A white plastic fork?
This is why I have to be really careful with this microphone, because when you pull out that microphone, and he used to say very explicitly, "This is a microphone."
I actually did learn that very early on, probably after the first one or two videos we did. There was enough people that were basically, including Stacy, enough people that were saying, "Woo, you better be careful. You can whip that mic out and somebody's going to shoot you." So, So generally, with very few exceptions now, if I'm talking to police and I'm going to pull the microphone out, I will say to them, I'll make it very clear, I've just got my water bottle in here. I can get my water bottle out. And they're like, yeah, you're good. I am actually now in the habit of telling police when they first show up, want to let you know, I am unarmed. I have no weapons on me. That's evolution for me. In the past,
except for the microphone.
Yeah, in the past, I had a cop ask me point blank, "Do you have any weapons on you?" And I said, "I don't answer questions." "Do you have any weapons on you?" I don't answer questions. He started off bad with me, so that was a cop that got no respect from me. That was the in Troy, Ohio, the Soil and Water Conservation District. Little Chief Wiggum there that came out. The guy was an idiot. But right off the bat, he violated my rights. He came in, grabbed my property, took it outside. And so right off the bat, he didn't have any respect for me. So he asks me, "You got any weapons on you?" My response is, "Yeah, I don't answer questions. I just want to know if you have any weapons on you." Well, how does it feel to want? Tough luck. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I think I've even said that to him. How does it feel to want?
They love that.
But now, see, now that was then, and that was months and months ago. Now, I habitually what I will do when officers coming up to me, first thing I let them know is I just, you know, in fact, I said to one just I think day before yesterday, for your safety, I want to let you know I have no weapons on me of any kind. And he was like, thank you very much. Thank you. You know, and so I think anything that I can do to reduce the chance that they have a trigger finger and they're like, oh, he's got, you know. So when I go to pull the mic out now, it's literally I'm telling them I'm going to get a piece of equipment out of here. Okay, let me get it real slow here.
Because if you don't tell them that, God forbid, an acorn falls.
Oh yeah, wasn't that crazy?
You know?
Oh man,
what a dipshit that guy was! I was so you gotta attack it for people that might watch this that don't know what you're talking about. You got to find the link to that and post it in a description or something there.
Crazy.
I don't think I've heard this.
And it wasn't just that he thought he heard a gunshot; he thought he'd been hit.
Yep. Yeah, he literally thought that he was bleeding out or whatever, and it's like
I think I have seen this too. What? Yeah.
Oh my God! I've never been more embarrassed for a police officer in my entire life.
Ronnie, they searched this guy.
Can you find it, Steve? Can you find that and put it on the screen for Ronnie? It's so freaking nuts. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if you're going to show the long version or the short version, but keep in mind that there's a guy sitting in the back seat of the police car in handcuffs in the back seat of this police car. And this guy in the back seat of the police car has been searched by two separate officers before they were put in the back seat of the car. So 2 officers patted him down, made sure he's all good, handcuffed him, put him in the back of the police car. And then this police officer comes into the scene. You got to show what happened, Steve.
Yeah, let's see. There's so many videos. I don't want to give any views to channels I don't care for. Let's see.
I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
So an acorn falls from a tree or something. He thinks he's been shot.
He's walking.
And the thing is, the dude was searched twice, I believe, in handcuffs in the back of the car, and he still unloaded his clip.
Yeah,
I have seen it, but I can't
as the cop is walking past the police car, we believe a squirrel or something, or a chipmunk or whatever, maybe just fell off the tree naturally, but an acorn hit the roof of the police car. And if you watch the video, you can hear it doesn't sound like a ping. It sounds more like a click. It almost sounds like the clicking of I gotta admit, it sounds like a twig snap. Like if somebody's walking through the forest and they step on a twig and they snap it, you hear this little click, and immediately this cop is like, I've been shot. And you know, he rolls a couple of times and then calm, cool, and collected, just unloads his entire fucking 17-round clip into the back of this police car where this kid is handcuffed and he's already been searched twice.
Did he kill that guy?
Amazingly, he did not kill the guy. Did not kill him.
Wow. That kid's damn lucky. Well, so is the cop. I mean, did he hit the kid or the guy?
I think he was hit. Steve, wasn't he? He was injured, wasn't he?
I don't think so. I'm not positive, but
and so wait, no, I gotta add to this. Get this. As he's unloading his gun, you gotta just play this and then we'll talk about it. It's
Shots fired!
He does all those rolls and just mag dump. Where right there? See, I don't care for donut operator, but that's the only one I could find that had the actual short clip
wait, you
of
didn't
it.
show the shooting. Go back and play that.
Yeah, he cuts it out.
He cuts it out before the shooting.
Yeah.
Imagine what happens.
The cop on the ground unloaded, I believe, fired 17 rounds at the car, something like that. Now, the other cop, the lady cop, she's like, what, where, what? And so she's running towards the car, and he's shooting at the car. I think he's yelling something about it in the car, whatever. So then she starts the car. So, you got 2 cops shooting at this car. and I'm not even sure if it even injured him. But yeah, that guy was touched by an angel, I'll tell you. But then again,
No
these cops are shooting like stormtroopers, for God's sakes. I mean, these guys couldn't hit the side of a barn.
It's good for them. They didn't. I mean,
Yeah, good.
Guys sitting there in handcuffs.
Well,
How was he thinking the guy fired a shot though? I mean, he was handcuffed behind his back, right?
That's the thing.
Get it while you still can, because they have a habit of taking.
It's I already yeah.
I was just saying, you got to see it. Oh, there he is. Watch this.
Deadly mag dump spectacle. But before we watch this video dropped by Sunshine Accountability, you got to realize that this deputy is being called the dumbest cop in the country for good reason.
I guess so.
People say he's got the accuracy level of a stormtrooper from Star Wars. They claim he's the only cop who wrestled imaginary Call of Duty ghosts and lost. All over the world, Okaloosa, Florida deputy Jesse Hernandez is being memed into internet oblivion because his sensitivity to a falling acorn caused him to open fire on disarmed and cuffed Marquise Jackson, who was locked up and sitting in the back seat of Hernandez's patrol cruiser. Let's put it this way. His reaction would have been less funny if performed by Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, Wrinkle, he's a dummy. Please, Rock, you were speaking of our host.
It would have never gained this much traction and interest if it was performed by Eddie Murphy in a Saturday Night Live skit. Before we get to Sunshine Accountability's video, just in case you've been buried under an oak tree for the past week, let me get you up to speed. This is Deputy Hernandez walking back to his vehicle while Sergeant Beth Roberts was finishing up a report.
And the acorn falls. I don't know how an acorn can sound like a gunshot.
As simultaneously painful and hilarious as this is, there was some speculation as to whether there was even an acorn present that precipitated this Pee Wee Herman reaction.
I meant to do that.
But as we zoom in on the vehicle, sure enough, it does look like an object dropped onto the vehicle.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
And this is the point at which
And
Scaredy
he
Cat
unloaded.
Hernandez empties his magazine into the back seat of his patrol cruiser while he yells, "Shots fired!" and screams, "I'm hit! I'm hit!" Antics like this and the cartoonish noises he was making, like, and
In the car! I shot through the car! Oh!
would be hilarious if it wasn't for the fact that his wild response could have gotten an innocent man and other people in the neighborhood killed.
I don't want to never see no more police in my life.
His sergeant, convinced that he had been hit, even though there was no evidence to confirm this, also began to riddle the patrol car with lead, giving no thought to the mobile home park behind the vehicle.
Do you know your tag number off the top of your head? Okay, it's okay.
What? Where?
Right there?
At our
If you
car?
listen
Yeah,
really,
just
really
light it up.
close, right after Sergeant Roberts says, "Do you know your tag number right off the top of your head?" you can actually hear the sound of the acorn on her body camera better than on Hernandez. Listen.
Do you know your tag number off the top of your head? Okay, it's okay.
Here's the sound multiple times isolated. I didn't catch that the first time I reviewed this video. We're not told how many shots were fired, but I'm guessing at least 20 or 30. That's 20 to 30 projectiles that could have easily hit somebody. Now, there were questions whether this tree was an oak, which is the only tree that drops acorns. The type of tree was verified.
Cars driving by and people standing in their driveway.
Oh, yeah.
And
He
just
didn't
so
care.
many things.
I mean, that's so
I mean, the guy was,
embarrassing for
he
him.
wasn't
And
going
that-
nowhere. He's in the back seat of a car.
That cop
Well, that's
is
the thing,
the
he's
laughing
handcuffed.
stock of every police department in America. You know, I mean, he will, and rightfully so. That cop will never live that down. His nickname's probably
no shit.
His nickname's probably Acorn or something now.
I hope they fired that fool. I mean,
yeah, but they probably let him resign, and he's probably going to change his name and go work for another police department somewhere. He probably won't even change his name.
No, I don't think they have to.
Usually, when they fire them, the person resigns. It's because if they fire them, it's more difficult, if not impossible, for them to get a job in another department. So they always tell them, "Listen, you resign, then you can go work 5 miles down the road at Clifftown or whatever." And so, yeah, unfortunately, that's
so. This cop, he had already been wrestling. He had already been wrestling with ghosts, and lost. Before he shot the guy in the back in the car that was inside of a cop car, he'd been searched twice and handcuffed behind his back.
Yes.
Boy, that is one damn good cop. I mean, damn good cop.
Is how that cop literally believed that he was hit. I'm hit. Like
it's one thing to think. I guess I could see how maybe in some delusional world he could somehow mistake that noise he heard for a clicking. Maybe a hammer being. I thought I was shot. You thought somebody shot you with a gun. Where? How? What? I mean, did he have a pinched nerve? What in the world happened that caused this officer to, at least, because he seemed convincing to me that he seemed to believe legitimately that he had just been shot.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, that was panic.
That was bizarre.
We can't have panicking police officers like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he needs to put up his Xbox.
Well, they got on bulletproof vests too.
Sometimes, because you never know when you're going to encounter someone who's trigger happy.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's when, I think it was about 6 months ago. I used to have a dash cam, but then it broke, and I was just like, And then the more auditing videos I watched, and then I was actually watching Lackluster. And I went on the one that he promoted just because I'm like, I need one because you don't know. It can happen to anybody. And you got to have everything on camera.
Pretty much. If you can, you should. I would highly recommend a webcam or a dash cam rather for your car. Yeah. Absolutely.
And turn on your phones if you have an encounter with the police. Turn your phone on immediately. You get everything on film.
Oh, yeah. That's what's that called? What Lackluster and Long Island Audit just came out with Attorney Shield.
Attorney Shield, yeah.
Good for them. I hope they make a bazillion dollars from it. Now, do you use the Attorney Shield? Do you know anybody that does have any experience with it? I understand. It just seems like for somebody like us doing what we do, I cannot fathom the possibility that for a few dollars per month we would have a service that when a cop starts questioning us, because I get questioned by cops 4, 5, 6 times a week. So surely that seems like a service like if you're getting pulled over for a DUI or so. I'm curious if you know anybody that actually uses it who is a First Amendment auditor, and have they had any success with it?
Well, that's the thing. It just came out because what was it, a few months ago when they started talking about it? I was like, I like this idea, so I went and paid for it. So I have it 6 months in advance.
Oh, you
but
did?
It just came out like a week ago or something. But the fine print, it cannot be used for auditing for traffic stops only.
No.
So traffic stops only. So
constitutional issues are a little more complicated, probably.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, because we were wondering about that. I kind of assumed that it for the ridiculously low cost they're charging, it seemed like very reasonable. What they were charging, I think the only way that I would really need if I was driving for a living, if I drove a truck for a living and got hassled by the cops on occasion, oh yeah, you bet your sweet bippy I'd get that.
Yeah, that's for me too, because I'm a plumber and I own my own business and it's just me. So it's not like I have a bunch of employees. So I do everything, the work, the drive, and I'm driving all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, it'll come in handy. I I hope I never have to use it. I hope I never have to use it, but
Although, I might have to second think that because we are driving a lot. I mean, realistically, we are driving a lot. We'll be in one city for a week.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we wind up, we'll drive 300 miles, but it's like 300 miles at a time, typically 250, 300 miles. But maybe something like that would come in handy. I did sign up for AAA recently, which is something that I personally never had. But when you're driving a 31-foot RV, it's going to be a freaking nightmare if it breaks down and you have issues. So I definitely got AAA.
Yeah, our house is at
Yeah.
risk. So,
and
we
we
But is y'all's
we're,
RV a motorized one?
Yes.
Or you have a truck? Okay.
Yes.
Well, y'all
Because
spent
that's
some
what
cash
me
on
and my
that
wife,
sucker, didn't you?
What's that?
me and my wife
Seriously.
are actually looking into that. Because we live in Hawaii. She's been here pretty much her whole life. I've only been here 15 years, but she wants to travel, and I don't miss the cold, but I wouldn't mind doing van life or RV life, and they call it the mainland, just traveling the mainland and filming it,
I see the pros and cons of doing the vans as opposed to the RVs and stuff like that. We've talked, I don't know. I don't think personally two people could comfortably live and travel in a travel van. I think you almost have to go at least like a 25-foot RV. Our goal, our dream someday is to move up to one of these Class A motorhomes. It's like the big giant bus
like
and
the tour bus.
Oh,
The
my
tour
God.
bus,
But
yeah.
those,
That's my dream too.
now, mind you, I would never buy one of those new because, RVs are like cars. You don't buy it new. Don't buy it new. Buy a used RV. And that's what we did. We bought a used RV and we got a killer deal on it. And someday, though, we're going to get one of those big ass giant RVs that'll probably cost 3 times what my first house cost.
But washer and dryer.
They do. They have full size washers and dryers. And it's like, I mean, how many gallons of water do you have in this thing, for God's sakes? So,
Some of them even have an upstairs. You got the
I need one of them
They
myself.
literally have an upstairs.
Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, we saw a guy recently that had one of those big giant Class A motorhomes, and he was pulling a trailer behind it. The trailer was the biggest freaking trailer I've ever seen in my entire life, and the trailer was big enough to carry 2 cars, one stacked on top of the other, because it had a hydraulic lift. So you pull the first car in, raise it up, and then you pull the second car in. And there's enough room for him to open his car door and get out. And he's like,
a garage.
he joked and made some comment. Oh, yeah, no, we got a kitchenette in that one.
I bet he has hell turning corners, man.
Can you
I was gonna say, 'cause that's my dream to have one of those. Like I call them a tour bus. I want to be in a tour bus, just luxury, but I wouldn't be able to drive it. I'd be like, I'd have to pay someone like, here, I give you a yearly salary, but you got to drive me all across America.
Yeah. The driving it is it's certainly the worst part of it. It really is. We had our first big giant rainstorm last night. I mean, yesterday it rained all day long where we're at, and the whole day we're kind of crossing our fingers, waiting, because this was our very first real rainstorm in this RV. And you know how it is. You buy it used. You don't really know if there's a leaky roof problem until you really experience some serious water downpour.
That's right.
Yeah.
When I first bought this one,
all was well.
I think I'd had this about 2 weeks, and Steve and I were on one night, and it started raining to begin with. Then it started hailing, not big hail, but it was hailing. And it, you know what it sounds. Well, I don't know if you've been through a hailstorm in your RV yet, but I'm telling you, it sounded like World War III was going on.
I can imagine.
We did make it through an ice. I guess that wasn't in the RV though. We drove an ice storm that was crazy. That I've never seen it before. Where it wasn't raining. It wasn't snow. It wasn't hail. It's like it was raining liquid ice, and as it was hitting the windshield, it's like it was liquid in the air, and then it hit the windshield, and immediately, hey, Chris, you can't see it. And then it hits the windshield, and it froze on the windshield. So it was wild. We had like a 1.5-inch thick layer of ice over the entire hood of the car. Where I peeled it off, and the entire Louisiana and the whole front end of the car just slid off in ice. It was awesome, but it was not awesome driving in it.
It was that
No.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's freezing rain. Anytime it's freezing rain, you can bet I'm going to stay my butt off the road if there's any way possible.
I mean, even in a regular car. That's why I do not miss Detroit, man. I do not miss
about
Detroit.
Detroit?
I don't miss the cold. I don't miss all that. I just
We've decided that in the RV, we are better off being too cold than too hot, because it's a lot easier for us to, well, first of all, we've got a husky. And so because we have a husky and she's an indoor girl, obviously, we have to keep it relatively cool for her. So it could get crazy ass cold in here as far as she's concerned, but it can only get so hot before it becomes dangerous for her. So like we've got a little device we leave in the RV. If we're out and about and she's in the RV, we got a device that lets us know what the temperature is. It'll send us signals if the temperature is getting dangerous.
Oh, that's cool.
If oftentimes we'll leave the air.
It's a good deal.
We have air conditioning. We'll have air conditioning. It's gonna be, if it's gonna be too hot, we have the air conditioning going for it. But when in colder weather, it's cheaper for us to heat the RV than it is in hot weather for us to cool it down. So.
So you also got a generator in it and everything.
Yes.
Built-in generator.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I love those things.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get out anywhere as long as you have some gas. You're going to be able to have lights and things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gas in it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
tried
we
all
built the
kinds
house off one. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Stacy.
Sorry, we've tried all kinds of different stays like that, places with electric, places that didn't have it, and it's interesting. But yeah, it always works out because of the generator.
Yeah. One thing I wished I would have got when I bought mine. I wished I would have got one that had wash and dry, and even small ones. Because I had to go to the laundromat all the time. Or my daughter does it for me.
That is certainly our least favorite part.
Yeah.
The laundromat is the least favorite part. For sure.
No, I'm telling you the truth, man.
don't worry. You keep doing what you're doing, and I think that tour bus is coming.
Oh yeah.
From your lips to the flying spaghetti monster's noodle.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched any of your videos yet, Mike, but I'm going to. And I wish I had.
I would say my advice would be to go to KULT News on YouTube and go to the videos and sort by most popular, because you can start at the earliest, but I'd sort by most popular. And one of the ones that's very high on the list, it may be number one on the list. I think it was the Heartland Bank, where not only did the bank employees call the police on us, but then the bank manager monitoring the situation from another city somewhere also called the police and went so far as to tell the police that he believes it's his constitutional right to know my name and phone number.
It's his constitutional right?
Yeah, it's his constitutional right to know my name and phone number. And at one point, one of the officers, a cop gets on the radio and he calls to one of the cops that's there dealing with me. And he says, hey, I got another car. You want me to send another car out there for you? And he said, and we've got it in the video, he said, no, don't do it. It'll just make things worse. And that city also had a reputation. They had a recent incident with a bunch of cops in the city who anonymously reported abuse and harassment from their upper echelons. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so at one point I actually started asking this officer. The officer was right in my face, uncomfortably close to me and all of that. As soon as I start asking him questions, what kind of RV? Oh wait, I got to answer this. As Stu asked about what kind of a good brand or look for an RV, don't buy a new RV. I'll tell you that. You buy an RV that's at least 2 or 3 years old, that's got a few miles on it, and you know that it can handle those first few thousand miles. Other than that,
some of them come off the lot.
Any brand is good. I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Oh, was that in Ohio though? The one you were just talking about, your most popular.
Oh yes, it was in Ohio, wasn't it? Heartland Bank.
I don't know what
city it was in, but I do believe it was
284,000 views. Yeah,
I think that was the one. Yeah, Heartland Bank. It was something else. The vice president or something or another from the bank called up. I'm watching this, and he didn't appreciate the irony of the fact that he calls in and says, I'm watching on our cameras this guy out on the public sidewalk. I feel it's my constitutional right to get his name and number. He shouldn't be able to take pictures of our bank. It was just, it's like, are you listening to what you're saying, dude?
I know.
They ought to be happy someone's giving.
And so I asked the cop as he was kind of right in my face. I asked him, hey, well, is it, I started about the issues that their own police department is having, and I even offered to let him go off a record. Like I said, I'll blur your face and disguise your voice, whatever. You want to go on record and all that. And he immediately, as soon as he realized, oh shit, this guy's turning the tables on me, immediately turned around and told the next officer who was coming out, don't bother, it'll just make things worse. And he was right. It would have made things worse. I would have had 3 additional cameramen instead of just the 2 that I was dealing with. So, most people call them cops. We call them additional cameramen.
Yeah. So I want to see. I'm going to pull this back up because I want to see. I want to see the illiteracy of Sergeant Brown here.
Sergeant Brown. He actually had
think I
in
have
his
it at the
hands
part.
my Arizona driver's license with a Phoenix, Arizona street address on that.
And what did he say? Louisiana?
Louisiana. He calls it in.
Louisiana.
I got. He's actually looking at an Arizona driver's license, and he sees Louisiana.
Like, how do you mess that up?
He's illiterate.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Can you copy one, please?
He's staring at it.
Last name of Norton, Norton. First name of Michael. He's out of Louisiana. 629.
He literally, he was staring at it for a good 15-20 seconds.
Yeah, and then he says, you hear him say, "Wait a minute." I think he looked at it and he thought, "I didn't know Phoenix was in Louisiana." Huh? Dumbass.
That's so funny.
Well, you should have told him, well, we just recently moved. The whole city is Louisiana.
You should show the very end to Ronnie where I'm in the police car.
The paddy wagon.
The paddy wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, you got full treatment.
Yeah, right there. Right
He
there.
starts reporting from the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Did they get the handcuffs too tight, Mike? They always do.
Oh yeah. They're way too tight.
And that's the funny thing too, is that a paddy wagon for film, like, a paddy, like they could. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, you think they don't use that with multiple people going to jail?
It's over.
We'll talk about a waste of resources, right? Like,
yeah.
Sure. If you're a tourist, don't take pictures in Indianapolis.
so instead of there's that police car right there, instead of just using that, they're gonna wait for a paddy wagon.
Yeah, they have 2 police cars.
Paddy wagon count.
Are we picking anybody else up? One more. All right.
Then they go pick somebody else up.
Oh, they didn't even strap you in. Wow.
Oh.
Are you needing a heat or anything back there? Nope, I'm fine, other than I'm having my rights violated for taking photos on a public sidewalk, ma'am.
I apologize for that, sir.
Now, it's Sergeant Brown that's going to be facing the real repercussions on this. He has lost his qualified immunity. I'm a journalist. I'm doing my job on a public sidewalk. Gathering content for a story, and I just got arrested in Indianapolis. Is this camera back here working? Because we're going to have to get that tape.
Yep, give me 1 second. I believe it's already on.
I love how you did this too, because you knew that you were gonna get the.
Oh
the
yeah, I think it
camera.
would happen eventually.
I'm told by our chauffeur here that we will be picking up another passenger.
Awesome.
Your
So
chauffeur.
that'll be interesting to see if they're violent
Never
or
quits.
smell horrible or whatever. It'll be fun. A new experience. I've never been in the back of a paddy wagon before, let alone with other prisoners. So not terribly worried per se. I'm just curious as to what this next passenger will be like. Stick around to find out.
I love how you did that, man. You
I was
knew the
surprised to
story.
find out that in paddy wagons, they don't actually buckle you in. My hands are handcuffed behind my back. There's a strap you're supposed to hold on to. There's a sign here that says, "Hold on to straps when vehicle is in motion."
That sounds safe.
So,
Yeah, because
it had to be a little lower, wouldn't it?
Because hold on a strap, because that's just like, if you're in the passenger seat in the front of a car and you're just holding a baby. Well, if something happens, I'm holding on.
Yeah.
So,
As
that's
much as we
good.
want to think otherwise, our mom's arms sticking out, preventing us from flying through the windshield, it doesn't actually
Right.
work. It doesn't really prevent anything other than like 5 mile/hour impacts or less.
Looks like you had a darn good time there, Mike.
No, here's it. You got to see if they have my sign out here.
Well, I love how he used it to your advantage by using their camera, because that's awesome, man.
This is the other prisoner.
See, because that's a true businessman too. You're still thinking about the video, like I'm using their camera and I'm still making my video.
You guys get yourself another photographer.
He says he's a comedian.
Hey, I'm a journalist. I got arrested for taking photos on the public sidewalk. A journalist.
What was you taking pictures of?
A bank?
Is the bank up for sale?
Nope. It's this public sidewalk, a bank, and I was doing a story on the bank, and Sergeant Brown decided that sidewalk was, I guess, the bank's property. I don't know what his excuse was, but what his rationale was, but yeah. Sergeant Brown decided that taking photographs of a bank from a public sidewalk was a public disturbance. Yep. God bless America. America's turning into North Korea. They're arresting journalists for taking photographs of buildings from public sidewalks. Sergeant Brown has bought himself and the city a nice, hefty lawsuit. He tried to tell me that I needed to move along. I couldn't stand on the public sidewalk taking photos. They drove around the block and I was still there, and he just decided to arrest me. Yeah, I had every right to be there when he came back. It's a public sidewalk, for God's sakes. If you can't take photos on a public sidewalk in America, there's some serious problems. And there are indeed serious problems in Indianapolis, Indiana. And the police think they can criminalize a constitutionally protected activity, the First Amendment, free press. I told them point blank, I am with the press. Hundreds of thousands of people will see this arrest. I'm not breaking the law. I'm taking photographs on a public sidewalk. He did not care. He said I was causing disturbing the peace or public disturbance or something or other because the people inside the bank were scared. The people inside the bank that had 6 cameras aimed at me on the sidewalk, the people behind bulletproof glass, they were scared of the man outside on the sidewalk taking pictures of them.
Well, to be honest, that's who actually called. That's why he came with bank calls.
Doesn't matter. It's not a crime. Public photography is not a crime. I know the bank called the police. It's just not a crime. That's when Sergeant Brown should go inside and say, he's not breaking the law. It's not against the law for him to take pictures out there. If you don't like it, close your blinds. You can't just arrest people on the sidewalk for taking photographs. That's crazy. No, didn't know a single person in the building. I'm a journalist. I have been in Indianapolis. I've been in Indiana for less than 24 hours working on a story. I'm a journalist. And by the way, that other woman out there taking pictures, she's with me. She's one of our cameramen. She got the whole thing documented with 2 cameras. The bank employees lied, like they always do when they call 911. Sergeant Brown claimed that he claimed that I was banging on the windows. Nope, never touched the windows. I got it all on video with 2 separate cameras.
That's a great point right there too, because I've seen in your videos and in all the videos I watch in all other auditor channels, the 911 calls, the person making the call always lies and exaggerates.
I would say 95%. In my experience, in our experience, 95% of the time, whoever calls 911 either lies or grossly exaggerates.
Yep.
95% of the time.
Yep. And then I was gonna say 2 things. One, if that was actually a law, then Waikiki would be dead.
No.
Because everyone would be
any place
arrested.
that relies on tourism dollars, and it's it's just crazy. I mean, and most intelligent cities, they do rely on tourism dollars in some way. Every city has their shtick and that they use to lure people in. Even like Greenville, South Carolina. Although I was born there, I hadn't been back to Greenville since 1968. I was 6 months old when I left there. I went back to Greenville just this last year for the first time ever, and it's absolutely a tourist town, and they draw a lot of tourism. And it's so, Mount Airy, North Carolina, that town relies heavily on tourism dollars. Indianapolis, Indiana, for God's sakes. I mean, it's Indianapolis. That's tourism dollars, and Hawaii as well. So any intelligent city, they're bringing people in from out their money, buy their gas, their food, stay in hotels. And it's kiss of death to have tourists think that they might actually wind up getting arrested if they can I take photos here? It's like going to North Korea. Nobody goes to North Korea, whips out the cell phone, and just starts taking pictures nilly-willy. That's how you get your ass thrown in prison. You don't do that. They have you can take a picture of this, but you can't take a picture of that. If you take a picture of this, you have to get the entire body. Don't just take a picture of his head. You need to photograph the entire thing, or don't take a picture at all. And if you take a picture you're not supposed to, your ass goes to prison. And so I refuse to ever allow America to become like that. And so it's a challenge to me when somebody says, hey, you can't take pictures of this. Like I told that guy the other day, I'm Gen X, man. I'm going to do it twice as hard and twice as long. Don't tell me I can't do something that I'm currently actively doing and I know full well I can do, man. I'm an American, not a North Korean. I don't live in Nazi Germany in 1944, for God's sakes. I'm living in the U.S. fucking of A, and I won't have some schmuck, whether they're wearing a badge or a gun or whatever, telling me you can't do that out in public. What? I'm looking around. I'm holding my phone, not my dick. The hell, I can't do this in public. I can hold the camera in public all I want. I'll aim it there. I'll aim it there. In fact, Ronnie, our very first video we posted was a post office it was an audit that we did last year in Athens, Ohio. And it was a post office. And the cops come in and tell me can't do what I'm doing and taking pictures and all that. And I literally, as they're telling me you can't do what you're doing, you need to leave, I pull out my camera and my 35 millimeter and I aimed at him. I says, I can take all the pictures. Click, click. I went. And one of the cops, the first cop I took the picture of, actually smiled and posed. The other cop, though, who was the lieutenant, who frankly turned his body camera, he muted his body camera, unethical, illegal behavior that he was conducting himself in. But he tried his best to get me tossed out of this freaking U.S. post office, and I was having none of it. And then we went outside, and he's trying to tell me outside where I can walk outside and stuff. And I'm like, so what? You're telling me, because he's like pointing at a sign on the wall that says no trespassing. I'm like, but the sign's on the wall, like right here, but there's public parking over here. There's public parking over here. So it's like, wait a second. You're pointing to a sign on the wall that says no trespassing. Yeah, I guess you're right. I won't walk through that wall because typically when you put up a no trespassing sign, you put it up facing the way. So like you put it on a fence. You put it on a fence right at the entrance of the fence so people know, oh, that's if I go past that sign. You don't put it on a wall in the middle of a long wall because it's like, what does this mean? I can't go through the wall. It makes no sense out in a public parking lot. And this cop is trying to tell me you can't. There's a sign right there. You can't go. And I'm like, so I literally like, so you're telling me if I stand right here, I'm fine. But if I stand right here, I'm breaking the law. But right here, I'm fine. But over here, I'm against the law. Really? I'll tell you. I'm going to walk back there right now, walk all the way around this building, and when I'm done, you can be gone because I'm not doing anything illegal. See ya. Want to arrest me? And I just started walking down there. That was one of our very first audits. I thought, honestly, there was about a 70% chance he was going to arrest me right then.
So did I. So did I.
Well, what is it about a post office? They don't want you filming anyway. I mean, a bank I can kind of see, but a post office?
It's control is what it is. Honestly, Ronnie, it's nothing.
Well, it's got to be.
But it's control is all it is. It's just a control issue. people saying that these public servants have they treat their places of employment, these taxpayer-funded properties, as their
kingdom.
That they are there so much. They're there 40 or 50 hours per week that to them it's like their second home. In fact, many of these people might be there at work more than they're at home. And so because they're there so much, they get real comfortable. And it's like, this is our house. And it's like
ordering people around.
No, yeah. And they're used to people doing what they say. They are in charge. You have to go through them to get what you want. So you're going to be nice to them. And if you piss them off, they're going to go, you know what? I don't think we're going to help you. You can leave.
They shut down
in
the middle of the day.
So we've had multiple post offices just be like, well, then if you're gonna stand out here and exercise your rights, then we're just gonna shut the doors and literally close up. And so people are walking in like, hello, they're banging on the walls. Hello, you guys open?
Well, how can there be any trespassing when it's a public building and people going in there all the time? And in and out.
They're not trying to hide anything. There's nothing that realistically, there's no confidential information that we can see in any of these places with maybe, I'm going to say 99.9%. Let's face it, once in a blue moon, we'll walk into some place and it's like, you really probably shouldn't have that sitting there in plain sight, dumbass. But 99.9% of the time, when we go into these public buildings, county buildings, city halls, whatever it is, there's no confidential information just laying out willy-nilly. Oh, hey, look, there's the mayor's name, address, birth date, and social security number. I'm going to take it. Come on. So it really, truly is just control. All of a sudden, control and paranoia. You walk into their kingdom. This is their house. And all of a sudden, you're doing something they don't like. You're taking pictures. Well, I'll tell you, Ronnie, it's a real fine line between doing something they don't like and being someone they don't like. It's a real fine line. And so you just have to draw that line in the sand, but don't wait until they push you and push you and push you till you're out there on the edge of the water bouncing on your feet. And that's where you draw the line. You got to draw that line way back here and being like, I'm sorry, I'm in public. And, when you're in public and you're taking photos, you think of three things: time, place, and manner. Ask yourself, is where I am right now, is this a public lobby during business hours? And is my manner, that's the key one, that's where they're going to get you on disorderly conduct. Is my manner appropriate? If they come out and they say, you can't take pictures here, and your response is, oh, fuck off, the hell I can, bitch. That's disorderly conduct. That is exactly. In anybody's book, that's disorderly conduct. So you respond.
I like where you said that, though, Mike. I mean, maybe you ought to use that line more often.
It might make the videos a little more interesting, but
it might.
You just got to be calm, cool, and collected, and just be like, I don't understand why can't I take pictures here? I'm sorry. I certainly
we have
can't.
a policy.
Yeah, we have a policy. Well,
policy.
Your policy doesn't trump the First Amendment. Right. I'm a journalist. I am gathering content for a story. So, I'm not going to camp out. Right? I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not photographing in the bathrooms, but
it's anyway, like they say, it's like, well, I don't like blue shirts, so you can't wear a blue shirt in here.
It could be, I don't like Jews. I don't like black people. I don't like women. It's if you allow them to not allow you to do something that's perfectly legal, they just don't like you doing it. Then what's the next thing in the First Amendment? It's religion. All of a sudden, you walk in with a yarmulke on your head, and they're like, no, we don't allow that. We don't allow what? Jews. I mean, you just. Yeah, so you really have to draw the line very early and be like, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, here's the way I look at it is it's a public place. I mean, the post office, like you said, is funded by taxpayers. People have to go in there to get their mail, the mail package, what have you. You shouldn't have to be a journalist. You should be just an everyday American and be able to take pictures.
Exactly. I'll tell you, Ronnie, I'm glad you said that. I often... Dude, I don't typically jump to I'm a journalist gathering content for a story. And the reason I don't do that is because it really doesn't matter. You don't have to be a journalist to be able to legally pull out your camera and take photos or videos of things you can see. And really, in America, with 4 exceptions, basically, if you see it, you can photograph it. And those 4 exceptions are bathrooms, locker rooms, dressing rooms, and courtrooms. So if you're not one of those 4 things and you see it, boom, knock yourself out. Take all the pictures you want.
Yes. Yeah, well, the least they could do is put a sign up there, like on that bank you were at, and say, you know, I don't care if you're standing here or over there. Don't take any film of this bank. You know, something like that.
It's
now,
not.
keep in mind, they could do that. That still
lawful.
wouldn't be legal, and that would not allow them to. Because I've seen some auditors. Long Island Audit's a good example of this, where he'll go into like a county building, and they'll have a sign up on the wall that says no photography, and he's taking pictures anyways. And they're like, "Oh, sir, you can't do that. You got a sign up over there." And I've heard him say, "What if you had a sign that said no red shirts? You know, would that be? You can't just put up a sign and have that sign be something that violates your rights. And having a sign up that says no cameras allowed is really the same thing as saying no journalism here, no free press in this area. Right. Why? What are you afraid of? You know, so you gotta. Sometimes you have to push back, but I would agree at the very least, though, if there's some rationale behind it. But keep in mind, big giant banks with clear glass windows that anybody can see into from outside. I am understanding from some of our viewers that is unique primarily to America. If you go to like Europe, you would not walk past a bank in Europe with clear glass windows and be able to walk up and just watch the tellers handing over cash and stuff like that. So windows on Main Street in America, clear glass windows into banks, is something that is somewhat unique to America, and I'm surprised with as many cameras as there are in public that we encounter as many people as we do that still freak out about one more camera.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, everybody in the world's got a phone with a camera on it now, so
Literally,
I mean, and everything.
Google.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, you'll have 100 cars drive by, and 20 of them have cameras on it. You got cameras on the light post. You got cameras on every ATM you're walking by.
Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps. If you walk into a supermarket, you're on 15 freaking cameras everywhere. Every gas station, every supermarket, every library, everything. There's cameras everywhere.
Right.
And yet,
constantly.
and yet, if you actually hold one up and start recording, people are like, "Oh my God, not that camera!"
Right. Then
It's crazy. It's crazy.
and you know what? That's how I know for like with the post office and police and everything. That's how, for me, this is what I think anyway. How it's just that obvious how corrupt the government is, because anyone that works there is automatically entitled. Like, well, I work for the government. Like they automatically think that they're better than everyone just because they work for the government. You know, and it's like it
really
doesn't give you entitlement.
There is definitely an air of arrogance about them a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think Steve's absolutely right. That is what they think. You know, because they work for the government. And if you ask me, it ought to be the other way around. You know, when you work for the government.
Exactly.
That means
they work for
to me,
us.
it means just the opposite.
Exactly. They serve us. We do not serve them. Yeah.
That's right.
And,
Well, it's supposed
I
to
mean
be.
that, you know, it's funny. I saw somebody, maybe it was on one of Long Island Audit's videos recently. I think it was on his, where he referred to somebody as a public servant, and they really took it personally. They were offended at the term public servant, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
that's what you are. You're a public servant. Yeah, I'm not here to serve nobody." And it's like,
yeah, you are.
The term is public servant, and that's actually your job, is to serve the public. So it's
well, it's like nowadays they are our enemy. They're
oh shoot, we lost him.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sure he'll be back.
But it's like nowadays, you know, we're their enemy. They're not supposed to serve us. They're supposed to serve whoever, you know, world of mayors, city council, people like that, but not the people.
And themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
Here we go. There we go.
Tried to leave, did you?
Yeah, you got the boot.
No, it's happened to me before. I know what you're talking about.
So,
are we going way beyond? We could be now that you said, we're talking for like 2 hours and 15 minutes. How long do you go on these things?
Well, usually about 2.
Oh.
So I was just gonna ask if usually it's about 2 hours, but it's up to you really. I mean,
well, I know I guys gotta take our dog out to go pee.
Well, yeah, plus I know it's getting late for you guys, because I mean it's only 5 in the afternoon for me, so I get.
I don't even know.
I don't know what time it is.
I
That
don't
was
even know
about
what
10
time
o'clock.
it
I
is.
guess.
10:23.
So let me ask you one last question then, and then we'll call it. But because me personally, I used to be a bootlicker. I just didn't know any better. And then I got into the 1A community, and then I was like, wow, I used to support, I used to be that guy, like, just let them do their job. Just,
Me too.
don't
Me too.
resist, just comply. And I never realized how much damage that's doing and how much more power that's giving them, because that's why they have such big egos, right? But my question to you is, were you ever in the same shoes as me and then came to your senses and realized it, or have you always thought the way you think now about police?
I'll tell you my opinion, and Stacey can share hers. I was very much like that. In fact, as a kid, I kind of wanted to be a cop.
Yeah, me too.
And my opinion, my high regard that I held law enforcement officers in started coming down probably around 1994 when I started working as a bail bondsman in Utah. And then in 97, I started my own bail bond company in Utah, and I was seeing behavior of police all across the entire state of Utah, and some of the arrests that these guys were doing and some of the things they were saying and doing to people was so horrifying to me that all of a sudden police weren't that shiny penny that I thought they were anymore. And I started seeing the tarnish, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, geez, they did what? And a lot of these cases that I would follow, I would follow them. Like, if we bailed somebody out of jail for something, it was a crime that I'm like, that's crazy. I would follow those cases to see what happened. Did they actually convict this guy? And in every single one that I thought, it's an insane case, I cannot believe they actually arrested this man, let alone they're prosecuting him for it. The charges were either dropped or the person was found not guilty. And so I developed a very good kind of sixth sense about it. When somebody talked to me on the phone and wanted to be bailed out of jail, whatever, I'd hear some pretty sob stories, I'll tell you, because sometimes they didn't have the money, but I had the ability to get them out of jail. And I came across a few people that nobody else would have touched them with a 10-foot pole, but they had me so convinced that they were absolutely innocent of the heinous crime that they were accused of. I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm going to do it. I think you're telling the truth. And I turned out I was right. They were found not guilty. Charges are dropped and all that. So for me, I started losing my admiration for law enforcement, I would say 97, certainly by 2001, when I was charged with a crime of bounty hunting without a license. And I had two uniformed police officers helping me at the time. It was a technicality. The law had just changed. Requirements had just changed. And even though I had two uniformed police officers with me, they found me guilty of bounty hunting without a license.
Wow.
The officers, of course, they weren't charged with anything because, they're
The
cops.
blue
They can
line.
do whatever they want. So
Yep.
it was that really solidified my thought that, man, the cops, and I personally, in my trial for that, personally witnessed two police officers get on the stand and lie through their teeth. And I was, to say that I was gobsmacked would be an understatement. I was like, what? And the judge had to tell my attorney to tell me to stop with the outburst, because I was like, well, he's lying. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Now, when I see a police officer get on the stage,
Uh-oh. I think they froze up.
There you go.
I have not developed this disdain for law enforcement. I think like Chili has, bless his heart. I think he's made some mistakes and all with his trial thing and all that, and he did things that obviously was not smart to do. Didn't help his case. Calling the bailiff a pig and stuff like that. He really kind of screwed himself on that aspect. But I give cops the benefit of the doubt, and every single time I meet a new cop, I go on the assumption that this cop is the 1/100% that is the good cop, and
that's
he's
what I
the
like
good
about
guy
you.
until he says or does something that convinces me otherwise, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I
usually do.
And they usually say or do something either to my face or behind my back, and I get it on body cam later that realize, oh, okay. You're another one
Right.
of
It's
them.
like you
Got
want
it.
to be like, I want them to prove me wrong and
Yeah.
and
You know,
be
I've
good.
had
But
a
every
couple of
time it's
times
like,
where a cop responded, they came out, they did the little thing. And at the time, I thought, I really like this cop. And I pray to God when we get the body cam footage, they don't turn out to be a complete piece of shit.
Yeah, we sometimes dread watching that because it's they have that two-faced thing going on.
It's happened.
And
It's
discouraging.
It's happened where you're like, oh, what a nice guy, and then you're watching the body cam footage, and you're like, and the cop's like, yeah, this dumbass, he's just over here. He's such an asshole. He's just over here being a dick, and you're like, what? Jesus.
yeah, he's just
no,
over.
nice
They're just those trying to get a rise out of us. That deal with these assholes. But 2
That's
minutes
my least
ago, it
favorite when they
was.
say that. He's just trying to get a rise out. How about I'm just trying to get you to recognize our rights and just leave us alone. Just go on. Just leave us alone.
Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, how about I'm just trying to get you to do your job, your actual job, which is to protect my
the
rights.
fact is, we need cops. There's no doubt about it. We need cops.
Right.
We need
Right.
cops that follow the Constitution of the country and the state. You know, not just for their higher ups right there in their little town. I mean, come on,
And
that's
not policy enforcement.
Yeah, exactly.
That feelings enforcement. They're not policy. So, but let's get to Stacy. How?
Looks like you're going to slap her, don't it? The way it throws out.
That froze at There's a weird time to freeze.
Smack her.
Did we freeze?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yep, you're back. You're back. You're
Okay.
back.
So, Steve, how did you phrase your question? I want Stacy to answer that.
It was
The same one I just asked you a little bit ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is about well, because I used to be a bootlicker basically, and then I came to my senses, and I was just asking, were you always against, or not against, but did you always believe that mostly police were bad, or did you, like me, like Mike, I used to want to be a cop when I was young, like 12, 13 years old, but not anymore, that's for sure. Oh, I think they froze again.
Did we freeze? Hit that.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. You're back.
Can you hear me now? All right.
Yeah.
I would say the thing that was, I thought they were way more educated on the law. You know, you watch Law and Order or whatever. I didn't have any personal encounters with police officers. But when I started watching, you know, the First Amendment audits before we started with him, and then just seeing it firsthand, yeah, I had a different view beforehand, definitely. Seeing how uneducated even attorneys that we encounter out in the field are about the Constitution was really shocking to me. I think that was the biggest thing for me that was, you know, surprising. They don't know the law, and they're there with a gun and trying to enforce something they don't understand. And it's very alarming.
It is alarming to get a letter. It's alarming to get a letter from an attorney who represents like a school district, just saying, we're going to trespass you from all school district properties everywhere. See, there's a thing called due process
in the United States.
It was insane. It really was. It was the most laugh. I'm reading this letter going, he doesn't have the authority to do that. They can't just say, hey, you know what, Steve, we're going to trespass you from all public libraries in the state of Hawaii. And it's like, wait, what? What did I do? Well, you really didn't do anything. We're preemptively, we think you're going to do something. We think you're going to do something. So we're just going to say right off the bat, you can't go into the libraries. There's no due process.
Right.
They at the very least, if they're going to do that, they have to have a hearing in court where you go to court and you tell the judge why you feel you shouldn't be trespassing this property, and they say why you should, and the judge decides, okay, well, they can do a temporary trespassing, and then there's legal channels to do that. They have to call the police and file a complaint and all that. And what the hell's the complaint? Well, he was taking videos out in the line like that. You can't do that. It's not private property, and there's too many police that treat public buildings as if it is the private home of the public servants. and they just gotta stop
It blows my mind how many times I hear that with the police saying, "No, this is private." It's like, no, it's not. Who pays for
all
it?
the time.
Taxes.
They don't know the basic.
And it's like private. Who owns it? Well, this is county property. Who owns the county? Well, nobody.
Right.
It's just the citizens. There you go.
Got
it.
Mike, this is an interesting comment. I'd like to get your comment on it right here.
And yet, how many 1A auditors will believe that driving is a privilege? Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I mean, thinking about it, is driving a right?
In the Constitution, do they mean like a Constitution?
I'm gonna say no. I think. I mean, isn't there some, what do they call it, sovereign citizens or something that say that I
Right
think
to
driving
travel.
on your own private. I think driving on your own private property is a right. I mean, you had a giant. I mean, you had 150 acres. And a car, when you take that out into public streets that are paid. Oh,
Breaking up something terrible, Mike.
oh, did we lose you there?
Yep. I got when you have like 150 acres and then it cut out and then but when you take it out on the public streets,
right? They're kind of. I think they may be asking like if that should be a law. Like, should you have the right to travel? Like in Little House on the
because
Prairie,
I know some people
you just had
say
a right
like
to-
lost me.
Well, the point is that when you're in your vehicle, it's the same thing as being in your home. So I don't think that you ought to have a license myself. I mean, maybe you have to have some driving school, or something like that, but not a license. I mean, I just don't think that's right.
Right. I've never looked that deep into it, but I have heard like the right to travel. So it's like, and I guess that is in the something with the Constitution where it's a right to travel unless it's commercial.
Yes.
I never went down that rabbit hole.
So back to this, the privilege thing. We were just talking about that, like a Little House on the Prairie, where back in the day, they would just
the right to travel.
The right to.
Yeah, good example.
Yeah, well, I think it ought to still be that way myself. It's like a truck driver. They live in their trucks, so they got to
exactly.
So that's their home. When they're away from their real home, that is their home. So I think you ought. I don't think you should either. Now, driving a truck or being a chauffeur or something like that, you should have to have a license. But for a car, something like that, I don't believe you should. Myself, that's just my belief. But I think we lost him again.
All right, I was gonna say, well, we're going on 2.5 hours, and I did tell Mike that we usually go about 2. So, and I know you
we keep
take the dog
freedom of
for a
movement,
walk.
free from any restrictions.
So
I think we're gonna.
But
and their connection seems to be getting worse now, which is
bad. But if you guys could still hear it, hopefully maybe we can do this again sometime if you guys are free. That'd be awesome. But if you can still hear us, I appreciate you guys so much, and I thank you so much for coming on. I mean, it's a huge deal for me. I've been looking forward to this for a month.
It's very interesting. I'll say that for it. No doubt.
Yeah. And like I said, too, it's like, and this thing, well, same thing with Flex Your Freedoms that was on with us Thursday. Like they're just good people, it's like real knows real, like we always say. And I could just tell they're good people,
Oh, yeah. Well, they're out there and they're traveling all over the country, which has got to be quite a bit of expense coming out of their pocket, because I know driving one of them big old RVs like that takes a ton of gas.
Especially with the prices, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if they were $1.80 a gallon, it'd still be very expensive. There's probably just diesel. I didn't think to ask them, but
right. He just texted. Okay, right on, Mike. If you still have this on, or you can hear us. Thank you, brother, for coming up, and I'll keep in touch with you though, or get a hold of you in a little bit. But thank you, you and Stacy.
Yeah, thanks.
No, because especially with gas prices, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's. Can you imagine what it costs them to fill up one time? $300, probably something like that. Lord have mercy.
And then what do you think average mileage is, like 9-11 miles per gallon or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It'd be very hard to get any more out of it than that. Lord, that is a lot of money. That ain't counting the cost of the vehicle itself, and then you got to eat and everything while you're on the road.
Yeah,
that's very expensive.
And
That's
then
them instead of me.
what I was always curious about too, because I don't know, me and Nina might be doing this down the road. I don't know how far down the road or how soon, but like when you're going state to state, city to city, county to county, where you park to stay to sleep overnight. I mean, you're in your vehicle, you're gonna sleep there, but like you just park on a side street, you find like a RV camping spot, or
you almost have to find it's like on the side of the road. A lot of the major highways, the interstates, they'll have a little place up there where you can park, where truckers
like the rest stops and shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, you have to find
that stuff. They don't have that out here. I forget about the rest stops and all the.
Yeah. All you do there is go around a circle, I guess, isn't it? I mean,
right? Yeah, you just. It's like, oh damn, we're back in this city again. We were just here 3 hours ago.
Creek.
Yeah, shout out to Creek, and thank you, Creek, for helping me out earlier with my internet. Dude, that's the first time that ever happened to me. My internet just like an hour before you and me usually meet backstage. So it was like noon. Yeah, it was noon because my time. Because at 1 o'clock my time is when we usually meet backstage. At noon, the power went out, and then the internet went out, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? But the power only went out for 30 seconds though, because we have solar. So luckily we didn't have to go without power. But internet, yeah, it was.
Well, you was talking about earlier, talking about trying to find a hot spot. If the internet's down, I don't think you can find a hot spot.
Well, I have through my phone, so it was working. I did have it connected to my tablet, but it would start doing that buffering thing with the circle. Like it would do that like every 12 to 15 seconds.
Hello, Miss
And
Lisa.
it's like, yeah, I'm like, there's no way I can, it'd be like, I'd say one sentence and then you'd have to wait a minute. And then I'd say the second sentence, and I'm like, I'll just wait till it comes back on. They said 2 o'clock. So
let me holler to what people are in here right now. A lot of
Lisa. Aloha, Lisa.
But I got a strike on my channel again. So the next time I'm on, I'll have to be on Ronnie's Facts 2. So if anybody here is interested in,
type something in the chat, Ronnie, and then because everyone here's got a wrench, so type something in the chat, and then for your Ronnie's 2, or wait, you would have to be in Ronnie's 2 to do that though, wouldn't you? Shoot.
Oh, I can do that. I can get on my phone.
Oh yeah, there you go. And then that way, if anyone doesn't have your backup channel, the Ronnie's 2 channel. Because it's like what, 2 weeks on your second strike? They give you 2 weeks, right?
Yep, 2 weeks. So I'll be off 2 weeks on that channel. Look here. First thing I turned my phone, or went to YouTube. First thing Bob says is your content was removed due to violation of our community rules. I would say something real dirty, but I don't want to do that here on here. So
Lisa Anderson just put it in there for you. Oh, right on, Lisa. She's on it. She's quick.
Is. Thank you, Lisa, very much. Save me.
Oh, I'm glad Creek's here real quick. Are you? Because I know Creek just recently started doing Sundays, but he has been doing it every Sunday. But are you gonna do your live today, Creek? Just curious, because we started 2 hours late?
Yeah.
Well,
about 2 hours late.
Almost.
Craig don't know what he's going to do. He's too busy drinking Bud Light.
Creek's like, I'm still thinking about it.
Just kidding you, Creek. from what I hear, Bud Light is making a comeback. So you got
It
nothing to
is.
worry about.
Hey, Kid Rock was even on Joe Rogan and said, you know how I know Jesus is real? And he's like, because I'm sitting here drinking a Bud Light on your show. And this was just like a week and a half ago. You know, after all that with Bud Light and Kid Rock and how he shot up a case of the Bud Light. And
yeah.
But he's like, I know Jesus is real and he's all around us because I'm drinking a Bud Light right now on your show.
I'm doing all right, Hit Gal. Just got the last report I got from the PET scan wasn't any good. I mean, it's basically the same, except they found another tumor in my right lung, another one. So there's two in my right lung now, according to the doctor, and one in my neck. Yeah, they're small, but they're and one in my neck somewhere, which was a total surprise to me. I had no idea I had one anywhere near my neck, but according to him, I do. So, but anyway, I mean, you know, to have, I guess for a person with cancer, I'm doing all right. But I would be a whole lot better if I didn't have it at all.
Right. And what about the are you still, I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about that. Shoot, but the R stuff, you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, you can say that. But now the other things, you can't say them. You know, it starts with the I and starts with the F.
Oh yeah, yep. And you know what else is weird? Like even this just popped in my head because of what you can and what you said it violated the community guidelines. I gave Kurt Kasprick, shout out to Kurt if you're watching this later. I wish he was here right now, or if anyone in chat that is a member. But anyway, because he's the third longest running member. So I gave him an emoji the other day because, you know, I gave As If It's Your Business one. He's the longest. And then AKA Heather Joy. And then it's been a few months. So then I gave Kurt one just recently. But the first one I gave, they're like, nope, that violates community guidelines for an emoji.
Really?
And it wasn't even like, it was a weed leaf, but it was blurred. So I don't know.
Well, you know, to me, it's a whole big old bunch of bullshit. I mean, it's, you know, like the thing I was telling you about earlier, Steve. Everybody knows about this thing. I mean, it's not like I'm letting any secrets out, you know.
Right.
That's what they got me for, because that video I showed, and the guy, he stated exactly what I think and feel about it myself. But you can't talk about, at least not in a bad fashion, about that on here. If you do, well
on small channels, because that's what blows my mind. Like we were saying earlier backstage, and that's what blows my mind, because I've heard, I mean, when I say big channels, I mean like 3 million subscribers. Yeah. Not a problem. Their shit doesn't get taken down. Sure, but if you're a little channel, if you're just little us, then you don't say that.
Well, I'm getting close to 500 subs. That's what it is, Steve. They don't want to see me get to 500. I guarantee you they don't. I mean, I don't know what else it could be, because, you know, all along now I showed some butt kicking videos besides that one the other night, and I hadn't got not even a word from YouTube for it. I mean, you know, they more or less said, well, thank you. By not saying anything, they're saying, thank you, good job. But some of those videos I showed were way more interesting and ass kicking than the one the other night. I wished I had it, but if I knew you know, what he was going to say when he was going to say it, I would have skipped past that part. But I didn't get there in time, you know, to stop it. He'd already said it, you know, so it was too late. But I mean, I did catch it a few times on another video, but I really didn't think they'd do anything anyway, because, I mean, the other videos I showed were way better than that one.
Yeah, and then I agree with ex-bootlicker too, because I don't want to put it up there because of the word that's in there, but
yeah, no, you better.
And that's one of the things I'm talking about with the bigger channels, and that's exactly what they were talking about, how they lied about that. But they had over 3 million subscribers, and it's a big channel. So, but if I were to put that comment on the screen and say that word and say what I'm really thinking about it, it'd be like, oh, like, what happened? They're not live anymore. You know?
Well, it's amazing to me, every time, like you say, other people can show it and talk about stuff like that, but I can't. I've seen the same thing you've seen, Steve, that you're talking about, where, I mean, people talk about stuff way more dangerously than what I do, and nothing happens to them. Why the hell do they keep nailing me every time, I say a little, or show a video or whatever about something, concerning the big C? I mean, it's just total bullshit. But
right,
it's there. Whatever
that's
you
true.
want to call it.
That's the home remedies and CM Citizen Man. Remember, he used to promote that book, the home remedies book, and that's so true.
Yeah, and I basically agree with that. But the reason I went to the doctors, I wanted to find out what that PET scan said, because I had been taking the RSO along with some other things, and I wanted to see if it was working.
Yeah. Well, plus there are certain things that you really don't have a choice. I mean, you kind of, you know what I mean? I think anyone in your shoes would be if I were in your shoes going to the doctors too. There's certain things you kind of have to. But
yeah, what else would you do? I mean, first of all, if I didn't go, and I the way they found it was on a yearly checkup. No, I take that back. They're doing them every 6 months, the CAT scans. That's where they originally found it at. Well, when you're found to have cancer in you, if you just sit back and don't do anything, well, you're begging for death. Well, I'm not ready to die, so I'm trying to do anything and everything I can, to stay alive.
Hell no, you can't give up now after 198 years, man. You're way past the point of no return.
Yeah, I know it. Why can't they just let me live up my life in peace? Whatever's left of it. But no, it really does piss me off about YouTube, though, and the crap they nail me for is just so stupid. I mean, I can show 3 videos over 3 or 4 different nights, and they'd be way better than the one I showed and got the strike for. But that's fine, those are fine. But the one I showed, I mean, it's just. Plus, I showed one this same guy about 2 months ago. This very same guy. He was, it was a different show, but it was the same one, and he basically said the same thing then. That they didn't give me a strike for it. I mean, it's
either way, even if I don't agree, I love you. I love you, YouTube. Even if I don't agree with some of the decisions, I still love you, YouTube.
I don't mind telling y'all I hate you. I know you hate me too, so the feeling is mutual. That's all I got to say to them. What I like about YouTube is,
well, at least you guys are on the same page then.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same page. But what I do like about it, though, is it does allow you to spend time with friends. You, Chap, and heck, a bunch of friends, and everybody in the chat. I enjoy the people in the chat more than I do anything about being on.
Oh yeah,
and that ain't no bullshit.
Absolutely. Yes, without the chat, I wouldn't even be doing this, because I love the chat. That's why I get, even when I'm not doing this right now. I mean, how many times am I at work? I always got my earbuds in. By the way, I got some new ones. Got some new Raycon. Hey, Raycon, give me a call. I'd love to. But anyway, I got some new ones, and I'm, like Creek Squad, JS Urban. I'm always Craig the Hunter. I was on his yesterday when I was working, and I missed out on that game because I was working and I couldn't see the pictures.
Oh, I got a bone to pick with Craig too. I'm glad he's in here, because I got a bone to pick with him. You told me, Craig, that you tell all your people to come to my show, and you didn't do it. I had a spy over there.
He did. I heard him. Are you talking about yesterday or Thursday?
Thursday.
I heard him. I was listening. He goes, and everybody go check out Ronnie. Oh wait, that was like 3 weeks ago. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Never mind. I had it mixed up. Sorry. Damn, I screwed up. Yeah, that was definitely 3 weeks ago.
Well, I did tell all my people to go over and watch Craig. Then I said, no, I'm just kidding. The hell with Craig. Well, I didn't say that last part, but I did tell them to go over and watch it if they wanted to.
I still don't know how he does it, man. 1 hour is up and it doesn't matter if someone's in the middle of a sentence. He's like, all right, 1 hour, see you folks. Click.
That's what he done to me the night I was on there with him. I got about 3 or 4 words out of a sentence and boom, it was gone. I have no idea what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly, Craig.
No, yeah, you did, Craig. I heard we were just joking around.
No, there was somebody that came in. Several people came over from Craig's and did say that he sent them over. So, I was just joking there. I have to give him hell about something. He does everything so well on YouTube and everything. And
whatever he's doing it right because.
Send us a recipe, Craig.
I'm not even sure if it's what he's doing, if he's doing it right. Because honestly, I just think it's because he's Craig. I mean, he's you ever meet that guy, like even in high school or whatever, there's just that guy where it's like it's just like the coolest dude, right? Like he doesn't even have to try. He's just Craig.
Well, he's got one hell of a sense of humor is a lot of it. I mean, Craig does. He's
Right.
just got a damn good sense of humor.
It's all natural. He's just Craig. It's all natural. That's just boom.
Yep. I've been trying to copy him. I can't do the wigs and stuff and all that, but I mean, I just look too stupid in them.
I still got all my right there. You can't see them, but they're right there.
Well, I still got mine too, but I ain't gonna wear it no more.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. It's not what it looked like in the picture. Put it that way.
Well, I was wearing his wine. I mean, the wig probably wasn't all that ugly. It was just me that was making the wig look so bad.
No, it wasn't. It was that wig was not like because the wig that you received was definitely not the one in the picture, but it was more of like a really tight perm when it was supposed to be a not tight. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be more.
Yeah, more fluffy.
More fluffy, yeah. And then when I seen it the first time, I was like, "What? That's not what the picture looked like anyway."
But I did tell people, which there wasn't near. I mean, I think I had about at that time I may have had 35, 40 people in the chat. Craig don't even miss 40 people. I mean, that many could leave, and he said, "I didn't know anybody left."
Yeah, he only if it drops below 900, then he's like, "Well, what's going on? Where'd everyone go? Why is there only 900 in here? What's happening?"
That's exactly right. But hey, he does a good job and has an interesting show, and so that's the impertinent thing, I guess. I do have a spy, Craig, and I ain't afraid to use them. I'm just kidding you, Craig. I hope you know that. And I know he's probably kidding me too. Probably, I say. No, there's who was it? Somebody came in and they were joking the other night about last Thursday night about Craig said not saying he was going to send anybody over here, but I know he did. I mean, I already knew it then because there'd already been people in,
right,
on his channel.
Well, no, I was listening to that one and I heard him say that too.
Yeah, but I sure was wanting to give him a hard time, and you messed it all up.
I know. See, that's me. I don't catch on to. I'm a little bit naive because I don't catch on to things until afterwards, and it's like too late now. Though you already fucked it up, man.
No, it's cool, man. I was going to tell him instantly anyway, but that's bullshitting. But he ought to know that by now. I mean, you can't watch much of me and not know that I'm bullshitting half the time.
And Garrett, you're lying. You're never innocent.
He sure ain't. The only thing he's innocent in his age. He's got to grow up for him to be guilty. Thank you, Craig. It was. I thought it was interesting.
I've been looking forward to tonight for over a month, man. I was really stoked. Thursday and tonight, and they both were great, man. And thank you again, Mike or KULT News and Mike and Stacy. Thank you again, and shout out to Flex Your Freedoms too from Thursday. Another Great show. And if you guys haven't seen that yet, definitely go check it out. Well, there's the live, which is like around 2.5 hours. And then I did a video with just, it's like a 20-minute video of basically just Flex Your Freedom's story, basically, which is great guy. Like I said, great guy. And Mike and Stacy, great people.
Well, I would tell y'all to go watch mine from last Thursday night, but they ain't there no more. Craig, I got another strike. Can you believe that?
That's why I texted you on Friday because I didn't see yours from Thursday. So Friday morning, I'm going to work. I'm like, oh, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna put my earbuds in and I'm gonna listen to Ronnie's because I didn't see it. And then when I went to it, it said this has been removed for something about violating community guidelines or something. And I'm like, no, Ronnie, no. And then I text you. I'm like, dude, what happened, man?
Yeah, they're not shy about giving me strikes, that's for sure. Craig, when can I come back on your show and tell people that I got another strike? And yes, again.
Yeah, all Craig has to do is for the title of his next show, just put at the end with special guest Ronnie Cash, and then everyone will just be like, Ronnie got a strike.
Yep.
Ronnie's gonna be on Craig's again. We got to go find Ronnie's channel and sub up.
Let me,
there you go. Thank you, Lisa. There you go. Lisa's putting
all right. I didn't know Lisa was still in there, but thank you, Lisa.
She put your yeah. And too, for anyone that's been here the whole time, KULT News, I have theirs pinned at the top because I'm looking forward to seeing them get married. They're a great couple.
Yeah, they ought to.
But make sure you're subbed up to Ronnie's too. Ronnie 2. Not Ronnie's, Ronnie 2.
Well, it is Ronnie's Facts too, so it is Ronnie's too.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah. Ronnie's Facts. Yeah, you're right.
Well, good. Thank you, Craig. And whoever else in there that hadn't been subbed, please sub. Craig said he subbed. Thank you, Craig. Now maybe I can get you to quit drinking that Bud Light. Just kidding you, Craig.
I know I could see Craig going, dude, I haven't drank Bud Light in like a year. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, me.
Let's see. What is Ronnie at right now? Ronnie's 2. Ooh, 173. That's not good enough.
No, it ain't. But the other one wasn't good enough either. But it was going up slowly, you know. But it can't go up if I'm not on. But I tell you what, I think I'm just going to leave that one set for a while and use the other one because one more and it's gone.
You know what you should do when I'm thinking is next time we have our show again on my channel, instead of coming in like you do because you have the come in through Ronnie's 2 and then stream share it. Would that work? Or would it still be connected to this because of your Google account? Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't even. Let me check, make sure it's even still there. It ought to be, or I hadn't got a. I don't think they do that, but
because I think if we
never know.
If next time it's on my channel and if you instead of coming in like the way you do now, come in, hey Nada, thank you. Coming through that Ronnie's 2 channel, I'd send you the link and you come in, and then you could do the stream share, and then that way you'd have more content on that channel too, which also helps grow your numbers.
I may do that. Either way, it's fine with me. But you know what gets me is now on this new channel, and I should have plenty of subs to get the community tab. They hadn't given it to me yet. I'm surprised they give it to me on my other one, the one that it's got a strike on. But they did, and I've had it. I don't know how long I've had it because I just happened to look one day and there it was.
Yeah, because I thought it used to be you used to have to have 500 subscribers or 1,000 or something, 500. But now I thought it was only like 50 to get a community tab.
Now I think that's right.
So
I think that's exactly right.
And good to see you, Nada. I'm sorry to everyone. I was so excited about today, and it was so good that I didn't really look at chat as much as I normally do.
I didn't either. I was just trying to keep up because all that buffering and stuff,
Yeah, his internet was cutting out a little bit, and then but
Yeah.
it was so good, man. It was so good.
It was, but when it's doing that though, at least for me, I had to pay extra close attention, or I don't even know what the hell I barely understand what they're saying anyway half the time. If I'd been paying attention to the chat, I definitely wouldn't have known what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's funny because a lot of times, for our shows, I try to keep up with chat as much as I can because I definitely not trying to ignore anyone or but afterwards, if I have time, I'll go back and watch the whole thing just to read the chat. And or if I'm doing it to make shorts, I go back and watch the whole thing and listen to it. And there's a lot of times I notice, like watching it, I can tell, like we'll have two other people on the panel, right, or something, and whatever we're talking about, and I have no idea what you guys just said because I was reading the chat.
Yeah.
And then so it's like the first time watching it because I'm like, I don't even remember they were talking about this shit.
I know that's exactly why if I'm going to have be able to make comments that halfway make sense, then I've got to pay attention to what the people on here are saying,
Right?
Because otherwise, I can't.
Yeah, it's hard, man. There's a lot. Even though I've been doing the lives for almost 2 years now, or 2 years. It's over 2 years. It's hard, man, doing a live and keeping up with chat. I don't know how Craig does it because he's got like 9,000 people in his chat.
Well, he says I still can't figure out how to post chat after the show. I didn't know you had to post it.
Oh, I can yeah, I can definitely help you with that, brother Craig.
Well, how do you?
Sure.
You talking about on the phone or what? I mean, because mine's up there automatically, not on my phone, but on the computer.
No, and your channel dashboard. Let me see if I can bring this up.
What's up, TJ? Good to see you, Travis.
In your channel. Oh shoot, I don't have any more. Let me see. I don't know if it'll show it because if I had a live stream scheduled already, I'd be able to show you in a heartbeat. But yeah, I don't know if I can. Yeah, I don't have any live streams set up yet.
How come you have to post the chat to your phone but it's already on the computer? I mean, I don't get that. What do you think it'd be the same?
No, yeah. Well, man, this sucks. I wish I could show it, but in the dashboard on the computer, because the dashboard is different on your computer and on your phone or even a tablet, it's different. But on the computer one, when you set it up and you have it scheduled already, and then you go in there, and then it'll say, what does it say? It says details on the left, and then underneath it says something else, but it's not saying it now because we're already live. But then in that part, there's a little box that's always unchecked. It's always unchecked, and it says live stream replay. So every time you have to go in there and click that little box for the live stream replay. So then after the live stream replay. But you have to make sure that
you're talking about for the phone, right?
On the computer for me.
I've never done that. It always has chat on my computer. That's what I'm not getting. It's because
in that part on my computer, there's always two boxes. It'll say live chat, and that one's always automatically checked.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
The second one is never checked, and that one is live chat replay. So yeah, because
I've never checked it, so I don't. I mean, not before I go on. I mean, I didn't know it was there. So.
Right. That's me neither until I don't know, maybe almost a year ago. And then I'm like, why doesn't all these other channels I watched? When I watched the replay, the chat's there, but on mine they're not there. And then I just started, snooping around, clicking all these buttons, trying to figure it out. And then when I did that, and then watch the next one that was there. So I've been every time I make sure I do that.
I guess I'm gonna start doing it too. But like I say, it's on my computer, but it's not on my phone. So I don't know, man. But JS Urban asked a question a while ago about did I mark mine as entertainment or news? It's mine marked entertainment. I mean,
that's what I click, entertainment.
Yeah, but either way, it don't matter. I mean, if you're going to talk about whatchamacallit, and not say the things they want you to say about it, then they're going to give you something you don't like.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that would make a difference what you check it under, entertainment, news, or blogging, or travel. I think regardless, if you bring it up, it's
yeah, and like I say, this guy, I mean, he wasn't cutting no slack. I mean, he signed it. If he hadn't looked so different and had an accent, you'd have thought he was me. I mean, man, he was telling the straight dope. Now he really was, and that's what they don't like. I mean, but like I said, I've had that show videos of this same guy on a different podcast, and he was saying the same thing. Nothing from YouTube, nothing. But this time, I get the old Steve right too. And the thing is,
that time of the month.
Yeah, could very well have been. And I guess certain people might get pissed off, and I don't like them giving me strikes for something that stupid. But I just don't see no point in getting mad at them anymore. It don't do any good and I'm still going to do what I'm doing. They just, I don't know what to tell them other than watch out for me because I'll have a different channel somewhere, somehow, some way. Is if I'm still here, and I might come back as a damn ghost. And that's one I was going to tell you a while ago. You never did ask Mike and Stacy about the ghost question, the ghost, aliens, Bigfoot.
I thought of that halfway through, and then I forgot, and then I thought of it towards the end, and I forgot again. But and at the beginning I thought of it, but I was so excited, and then it slipped my mind all three times, and I was like, damn.
I was
because I have it literally. It's written right here in front of me. It's always sitting right there, and it's that question. That's my reminder because it's right there. I can't miss it, and I still
wasn't reading your note, was you? You got to start reading that note, Steve.
I looked at it 3 times, and I still never read it because I didn't. He was talking and it was good, so I don't want to interrupt. And then what he was talking about was so good, I forgot. And then when I remembered again, same thing. And
well, when I noticed Mike now when he gets on talking about something, I don't know if it had done any good to ask him or not anyway, because he probably wouldn't have heard you. He too busy explaining stuff. Which is good.
I like his passion. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a very articulate guy too. I mean, no doubt about that. Stacy, she's kind of quiet, but
yeah.
I imagine it's hard to overtalk Mike, even whether you want to or not.
Well, that's why they're a great team too, because she does like the hidden camera part. That's what I call it. But because she just kind of stands back. Sometimes she's on the other side of the street, just standing there and holding her purse, and her purse has got the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even know she's recording.
Yeah.
But she's like the backup. And so if anything happens with the mics, they're still connected to her.
Thank you,
she's
Craig.
Recording and Angelique, I hope you feel better, man. So she's missing a lot of streams. She's been sick over a week and still sick.
Hey, I know where you're coming from. I was sick for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I don't remember now, but man, I was so sick there for so long. I didn't think I was ever going to get well, and that's when I thought I was going to die. I mean, literally. I didn't think I was going to make it to another 2 or 3 days. And finally, it started getting a little bit better and a little bit better. I mean, I hadn't even been out of the house while I was sick, probably in at least 3 weeks. Man, you talk about somebody, when I started feeling better, I was ready to get the hell out of this house. I ain't kidding you, man. I was sick of this place. But, when you're sick and you don't even feel like when you don't even feel like fixing your own self something to eat, and if you did fix it, you couldn't eat it because you're too sick, and that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
She says affecting her nerves. Dang, you hadn't got a what do they call that when your nerves? It's kind of like a belt around your waist. What's that called? Shingles. You hadn't got shingles, had you, Lisa? I mean, Angelette. Dang, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I heard that's painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never had it myself, but I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that's like when I had that cellulitis or whatever it's called. Oh,
Yeah, I know that had to hurt. I remember seeing that.
Well, yeah, I sent you that picture, and when I sent you that picture, that was of it in the healing process. That was like after the bad stuff.
Well, one night you showed it on. We were backstage, I think, and you showed it on the camera. You know, while you're sitting there in a chair, which I mean, it looked bad, man. Whether it was getting well or not, it looked bad.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It was at that time. It was in the healing process, and I already passed all the bad shit, and so yeah. And I mean, it literally the way I seen it, it looked like I was in like a house fire, and from the knees down, both legs. That's what got burnt. That's what it looked like.
She says she has CRPS. That's the same thing that I've got, Angelette, but it's in my left foot. Because when I had a wreck in 1992, and when the bone came out the side of my leg, it hit a nerve, and the nerve ain't never turned off. That used to be called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, because what it does is the nerves, you know, they somehow or another they change the bone structure in my left foot. I mean, my foot is humped up like this now. I mean, everybody's got an arch, or most people do, but mine is extra big arch on the left foot, where I have to have if I wear cowboy boots, I have to get a bigger one, a bigger size than I actually wear, because it hurts my foot so bad I can't wear them.
And I thought she was saying that she joined the Crips.
Well, I tell you what, it might be easier joining the Crips than it is to, if it's what I'm thinking of. Hers in her right foot. Well, all I can say, Angelita, is get ready for some long-lasting pain, because it more than likely won't go anywhere. Mine had, and I still got as bad as I did the first week it happened. It's damn sure hard to deal with.
Travis, don't make me time you out, Travis. Come on. Travis just got done saying, I'm sorry. I say stupid shit sometimes. And then he says stupid shit. What you say, blood?
Well, there's a way to remedy that, Steve. You know that, don't you?
Or what's that?
There's a way to remedy that. You know what it is, don't you?
I think so. I got oh, there you go. Well, besides, just another heads up to everyone too that's here, because I was supposed to do this 2 weeks ago and I still haven't gotten around to it. But I have to refresh the mods, because well, let's just say 2,700 moderators is a bit much, especially when one of them's gone rogue and they keep messing with me and I don't know who it is. So I gotta wipe it clean, and everyone's wrench. Put it this way: 2 weeks ago, I was like, "You get a wrench, and then after today, it's gonna be like, "You don't have a wrench, you don't have a wrench." But it's nothing personal. That's all I'm saying. Nothing personal.
Well, I agree. You know, particularly with the super moderators, what the hell you want to call them? You know, that's, to me, that's the ones you got to really be worried about. Is those? I mean, man, believe me, I want to give those out to people I really, really trust. And I trust about everybody in my chat. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that, you know, that these are folks for one reason or another gave me a big reason to trust them.
Right. Actually, now that you say that, I think I only have no more than 10. No more out of 2,700. No more than 10 have the super mod, whatever it's called, managing moderator. But even though it's, you know, and that's the thing too. Everyone that's here every week, you're probably gonna have your wrench back because out of that many wrenches, I know it's got to be someone that, you know, that I gave to on accident or something, or I just gave to because like everybody gets a wrench, and then they were just here once or twice, and then instead of coming back every time, they're just fucking with me.
Yep, that is a problem with a lot of the wrenches that I give out. I'll say that is a person come in to, watch the show 2 or 3 times, and I'll give them a wrench, but then they never come back. It don't do any good to give anybody a wrench if they're not going to, post links or whatever, help out on the show. So what's the point?
It's to have a wrench is like, I mean, it's cool to have one, but if you don't, there's still a point to it. There's still a reason for it. So if you're not using the wrench for that reason, then why have one?
Exactly.
I mean, it is nice. I do realize when I don't have a wrench on people's channels, because in the chat, when I see someone else in chat, I'm like, oh, I want to go check out their channel. And if you don't have a wrench, you can't click on their name and click go to channel. So I'm like, oh, that's right. I don't have a wrench on this one. Shit. Then you got
the only one I want a wrench on is Craig. Craig has to get, finally gave me a wrench though. He finally, after all them years, he finally gave me a wrench. No, I tell you the truth, I care less really if I got a wrench or not on any of them, because I'm not a moderator. I'm doing good to watch the video,
Right. That's what I mean. There's like having a wrench is being a moderator, and it's kind of like there's shit that comes with it that you should be doing. Like Indy's a great moderator. I love it when Indy's in here, man, and she hooks up everybody.
Thank you, Lisa. She is.
And then again, that's what happens too, is like when everyone has one, and then I'm not gonna say any names, but like someone that is getting ready to go live on their channel, and then they come in to the chat, and then they drop the link for their live, and then say, "Hey, I'm going live in 3 minutes."
Yeah,
and it's like, no, you don't come to my live and then drop the link for your live at the same, like,
Now I've had that happen before too, and believe me, I don't like it either. It ain't going to happen in my chat but one damn time, and then you won't be dropping links anymore. Craig,
Right.
Why don't you trust me? You take my wrench away, Craig? Oh, me.
That's funny. You just said you take my wrench away, because when you said I finally got one on Craig's, and I was like, maybe not anymore.
It'd be funny next time I go in there if I didn't have a wrench. I'd be raising some hell now. No, I really wouldn't. And by the way, Craig, I've been trying to figure out what night you're on and what night you ain't on. And whatever night I pick, Craig seems to be on. It don't matter what night I pick. He's always on at the same damn time. I'll come on, and then 2 minutes later, Craig the Hunter is now live. If it comes out in that little pop-up thing.
Yep. I was gonna say, because I don't get many notifications anymore, but I do get on Wednesdays for Creek, I do, and for Craig the Hunter, I do. And then with you, Ronnie, it's like 50-50. Sometimes I'll get it, and then sometimes I'll get it, but then you'll already been live for 2 hours, and I'm like, oh, thanks for letting me know 2 hours later, YouTube.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Rumble on my phone. I mean, they tell me when I've gone live, but the last 2 shows that I've done, they don't even show that I'm live for 2 hours later.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Well, Craig, now last time I was on a Friday night, you were on. And so I switched to Thursday night and you were on. Then I switched to Saturday night and you were on. At the same time almost. I think you come on 5 minutes later than me. I said it's impossible. I might as well just not even think about it anymore and just go live when I want to go live.
No, hey, that's what I did last Wednesday on my birthday. That's what I did. I was like, I'm gonna go live. And then after I decided to, and I made the thumbnail and all that, and then I was like, oh shit, it's Wednesday. I'm like, Creek does Wednesday karaoke chat and chilling, man. I'm like, I'm not gonna step on my brother's toes, but then I got a hold of Creek, and he's like, no, fuck that. We're going live on your channel. So he skipped a week. Thank you for that, Creek. I appreciate that.
And look at this.
And I got drunk. If you want to, that's the first time I've ever got drunk on a live stream. So if you want to see me actually drunk on a live stream, watch my birthday from last week. My birthday live.
You must have been on a long time.
The last, I'd say, hour and a half, 2 hours. The last 2 hours of it. That was. What is Pablo? Oh shoot! Give me 1 second. Pablo is. Damn it! I'll be right back.
All right.
Damn it, Pablo.
And here, Travis, I thought you were my friend, and you're saying stuff like that. If Ronnie is live, Craig is better. Shame on you. Craig can't be better than me. Craig knows better than to give me a wrench. Well played, Craig. Well played.
All right.
You must be drunk. Give me a wrench. I agree with that, Travis Joe. The sword dance. Oh, yeah.
Well,
people say they like the sword dance. But
the sword dance.
Yeah, well, that's what I call it. You know, it's the deal with Trump when he went on his tour, you know, where everybody capitulated. And one place he went to Saudi Arabia, and they gave him the sword and done a dance. So I call it the sword dance song. I think it's pretty good myself.
The thing is with Travis, though, is because Travis has been hey, get over here. Nope.
Carry on. Carry
I was trying to get in trouble. But with Travis has been here since I started. So he's, you know, it's that whole thing where I don't forget where he came from. You know, Travis has been there from day one for me. So that's why you get a wrench, Travis.
He has me too. No doubt about it. I mean, but I got to admit too now, and Travis, I think Travis knows this too, that he can put some crazy shit in the chat sometimes. Very crazy.
Off the wall, off topic, off like what the hell, like, shit that don't even make sense. And it's like,
and there are certain things. Yeah, and there are certain things that I ain't gonna allow anybody to put in chat anymore. I mean, you know, there's a lot of ladies that watch me, and I know a lot of them talk as bad as we do, maybe all of them. But to me, that's not the point. The point is you know, having respect. You know, that's it.
Yep. Oh, nice, Craig. Hey, Moonchild, aloha.
Well, thank you, Craig. If that's the truth, thank you. I don't know if you were or not, but maybe you were. I wouldn't doubt it. You don't never watch though, Craig. That's the problem, because you're always on at the same time. You used to watch, but now you don't watch because you're on at the same time. I kept wondering, why are my numbers so low? Why are my numbers so low? Now I thought,
yeah, but he does.
Because Craig's
he does only do 1 hour though. So
first unsubscriber. I don't doubt that nary a bit, Craig. Travis says he feels like he's being harassed. You are, Travis. You are. Oh, we're just playing with you, Travis. Beautiful V is in the house. Hello, beautiful V.
There's V. Oh man, I didn't get a chance to. I always try to shout out V for the replay, but she's actually here this time. So hold on, pretend you're not here, V, and shout out to beautiful unspecified V for watching the replay, because I know she always does.
She don't watch mine, darn her.
Oh, dude, you know what? I just said unspecified. That's what made me think of it. Unspecified podcast texted me yesterday because the day before I was on Flecka's Talks. Hey, what is your problem, bro? Pablo's like freaking out over nothing. Hey, stop it. Chill out. Chill. Like a little kid right now, man. Hold on, let me find this. I want to show everybody, because I was on, because I did a short video on YouTube like 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago. I'm not even sure. And I guess Fleck has found it because he played it at the end of his show on Friday. Let's see. Here it is. Let me go here. Oh, pause. Oh, there. Dude, I pulled it up and it was right at the spot. Sweet. All right. Okay, check this out, everybody. Check this out.
AUSTEN, and it was named after me. No. Yeah. Stop. Isn't that lit? That's a little crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot. Are you the godfather? I should be something. I'll go to whatever kind of events you have for that baby. Now that I'm involved in the life, baby's first birthday.
Right after this,
But that
we're
is a
gonna-
real situation.
Who's
That's
this guy?
great. Crazy.
Who's this guy?
For the whole life, that baby's
On
name.
Flecker's Talks.
Flecker's Talks in the Attic was written. Very cool.
Who was that
I
guy?
believe Leanne.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
Never
great.
saw him
Crazy.
before.
For the whole life.
Look at that. I'm famous. I'm Flecker's
How many
Talks.
times? Well, that's what I've told you now for months. You're so famous. No matter where you go, you get free room, board, food, everything. The only thing they're not doing yet is buying you the plane ticket to go, but they'll be doing that for long.
Right.
I mean, you're just
And
too famous.
another video I'm going to be in coming up. I actually just talked to this person today before the live on the phone. And he's going to be out here in next month sometime. But he's got a really big channel, and I'm going to be hanging out with him for a day.
You talking about Nick?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good
Nick
luck.
Johnson.
Nicky D. Johnson.
Cool guy too, man. Cool guy. And you know me, I don't talk on the phone. Pablo, this dog is killing. He's never acted like this before. I don't know what his deal is.
Maybe
But
Santa goes.
You never know, right?
That's right.
But I never talk on the phone, man. But even with Nick, it's like, dude, he's just a great guy, man. Fun to talk to.
He does have a good channel. I've watched a lot of his stuff too, and he does definitely have a good channel. You know, I guess the thing I like about it most is, the traveling, not just the traveling, but how he goes about describing, the cities he's in, what's good about them, what's bad about them.
And the way,
but Matthew's it. I mean, Matthew makes the show.
Mappy, yeah. But and the way he narrates and the way I don't know. I just love the way he talks. It's super cool.
It is. He does definitely have a good channel. I guarantee you, if I didn't think it's good, I wouldn't watch him.
Yeah. Did you see his latest one? Or real quick, Moonchild? No, that it used to be a puppy years ago, but he's acting like a puppy right now. I don't know he's never acted like this. I don't know what his deal is. But did you see Nick's latest one? I think was it today or yesterday?
I think I did.
The town, and they were saying like, "Oh, the town's the hood or the ghetto."
Oh yeah.
He's like, and you got it made. If you think this is bad, you got it made.
Yeah, he went over to that part of town that they're talking about being so bad, and gets over there, and it's better than most, big rich people's neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Now, if it's bad, give me some of it.
Let's see.
Craig, if you got talking to me, we'd be talking for a month. I would be so interested, you couldn't handle the talk.
No more, just an hour.
We know it's no more than an hour for you, Craig. Now he switches the subject. Now he's talking about Garrett. Do you remember Cactus Jack? Seemed like I do, but I'm not sure about Cactus Jack. I think I did see him or hear of him one time before in my life, but I don't remember when or where. Travis is on the road today, boy. I'm telling you.
Just because I come across as crazy, will love fund the way or find the way?
I think he wrote what he meant. Yeah, who is Cactus Jack, Craig? Put it into words we can when we read it, we can understand what you're saying. In other words, type out a big long paragraph and explain who Cactus Jack is. Money does find love. It definitely. I think it always has.
Cactus Jack. Oh, they're talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
That's why we had no idea.
Yeah.
Cactus
Now Garrett's got Craig doing it, not focusing.
Hold on one
There
second.
you go, focus. All right. Focus, Garrett, focus. You too, Craig. Y'all got to focus now. Oh, Lord. Get on to him, Craig. You got to stay on Garrett sometimes. And Garrett, you need to get on to Craig. Like Garrett said, you're the one that brought it up. Craig distracted you. Well, that's why you got to learn to focus, Garrett. I know it's hard to focus when Craig's in there giving you a hard time. You just got to figure it out, I guess. Oh man!
As soon as I hit Captain Jack, when it first popped up, I was looking for the channel name Cactus Jack, and all his videos popped up, and it's all WWE. I'm like, that's not Cactus Jack, WWE. No, and then I look at the left at the thumbnails. I'm like, okay, it's a wrestling thing.
Yeah, if Garrett's mentioning it, well, I guess we had to put Craig in the same category. But if Garrett's mentioning it, it's always about it's either about wrestling or music videos or something. I mean, I don't care. You could be talking about the end of the world is going to be here in 5 minutes, and he'd still be talking about wrestling or music videos, one or the other. He just can't focus.
And if Simone Watchman is in here at the same time, forget about it. It'll never end. That wrestling talk will just.
Well, I heard that.
Non-stop.
I heard that's for sure.
So, but what I'm gonna do though right now is put this in the chat because this is my other brother, and he is doing his Sunday night thing. So there's the link for Creek Squads Sunday night chat and chill. Sunday night chat and chill and bullshit.
Bullshit. It's got to have bullshit in there. It ain't even a show. But that gives me all the more reason to get off here now and let you get ready to go, because I know you're going to go to Creek. So when's he coming on? What time?
In 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
So 11:45 your time. But
yep. And y'all be sure now, if you hadn't subscribed to my backup channel, please do so, because I won't be on the other one for at least 2 weeks. And if I did go on there from now on, I'm going to write a song about, that, what they give me the strike for. Please don't take my charming. But I'm going to have another word for it there, because it's not charming.
Here we go. I'm going to put,
and don't
I'm sure Lisa will probably beat me to it anyway, but I'm going to put your share channel, copy. I don't know how everyone does this so fast.
Me either.
And then
take 30 minutes just to get the copy part.
Right. And there's Ronnie's backup channel again because she did. Oh, we did it at the same time. Right on, Lisa. So because it'll be, like I said, at least 2 weeks before he's back on his regular one. How does that work though? Because now you're at 2, so it's like talk about walking on eggshells.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even when I do go on that one, I'm not going to be talking about anything. I think it's when I just go on and sing a song or something, because, and they may give me a strike for that. It wouldn't surprise me at all. What has surprised me about them is that they haven't went back on every one of my videos and just gave me, 3 and got it over with, instead of, prolonging the agony. That's what they did on those 2 channels. Didn't have nary a strike, not even a warning on either one of them. They took them both. Dirty, rotten dogs. I call them dogs. They're worse than that. I don't know. I can't think of a good enough name to call them, but ain't just downright nasty, so I won't do that.
Bastards.
Dastardly Dans. Well, Steve, I'm going to get off here and let you, well, whether you're going to creeks or not, and I would imagine you are. But then, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump off and do my thing, whatever that thing might be.
Right on. Yeah, I'll be listening to Creeks for sure, but I got to get a few things done. But you know me, I'll probably still be up there.
Yeah, not I may have to do that. I'll get Steve to send me a bunch of pictures of his dog, and then Chap send me a bunch of pictures of his, and you know, just start rolling. Oh, I know where I can get a bunch of pictures of dogs at. JM.
There you go. But
Man,
keep it going for one more minute. I'll be right back again. This is the last time, but keep going for one more minute. Sorry.
All right. But that, you know, and I thought of a good song for JM too. Now this song was from back in the '60s, but I think it fits JM to a T, and that is called "Walking the Dog." Anybody in here ever heard the song "Walking the Dog"? I think that'd be a perfect song for JM's channel. Just a walking the dog. And if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk your dog. Da-do-da-do. That was actually a dance. Well, they tried to make it a dance, but it never quite went over. Exactly, Travis. Love will definitely find a way. It always has. It always will. Good night, Craig. What are you leaving for, Craig? We're still here. Good night, Craig. Have a good one, brother. Nothing compares to you. Who's that addressed to there, Travis? Nothing compares to you. I know it ain't me. I got to bring this up so I can figure out what the hell B put in there. I miss you, Moonchild.
I figured, all right. There was someone out walking their dog and talking to someone else in the guest parking spots, which is right next to our driveway. That's why Pablo is freaking out.
Oh,
because there's another little dog out there, so he's doing his yelping and crying.
Well, at least he had a reason.
I know, because I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, wait, he's never done this. Why is he acting like this? But
well, was it a girl dog, or could you tell?
I peeked my head out, and I'm like, they're like right around. They're just standing there, just talking to each other. Like, I don't know if they got to be neighbors, but I've never seen them. But one of them was walking their dog. So,
well, you know, the reason I'm asking is because you know they can smell when a female's in heat from a zillion miles away. So
I'm guessing it was a female then.
It's what it sounds like. Or maybe it's just a dog he likes, wants to play with. Who knows? Maybe it's one he hates, wants to beat up.
Well, no, because he was doing his little boo. His like he does it because there's another dog that lives on the corner, and he always howls for her. Thinks it's his girlfriend.
Oh, B, we don't need y'all to be in heat. All we need y'all to do is just give it up. Oh, man. Always on here. Always. Oh, I don't know about that, Dean. But anyway, if you're ready to call it, I'm ready to call it, bro.
Okay, right on. Do you have any final thoughts for everyone in chat or anyone?
Just the only thing I have to say is just remember, I'll be on my backup channel for the foreseeable future anyway. And so if y'all ain't subscribed to my new channel, did you say you pinned it, Steve? I did almost call you Chow.
No, I didn't pin it, but yeah, let me but I know Lisa put it in a few times.
Yeah, she put it in at least twice, I know.
Let's see, here we go. There we go. Okay, now it's pinned.
I'll tell you one, it's really getting old though, building up all these damn channels. I ain't kidding you, man. I mean, the first couple, you take it in stride, but then after that, then you start saying, what's the damn point? You can't tell the truth at all or have anyone else tell the truth because they're going to nail your ass for it. I guess, it's going to have to be like I'm going to have to do like lots of other people doing, just go and talk about not a damn thing.
Well, that's kind of how I do is, you notice how no one knows if I think the earth is round or flat, because I've never said. I just get other people's opinions on it. So I go that route. I just get people's opinions on what they think is happening with this or with that or with that.
But if they say what that guy did, though, it ain't gonna matter. I mean, don't ask that question. In other words,
that's true. But yeah,
did you hear me? Did you hear me telling about what would be a perfect song for JM? There was an old song from back in the '60s. It's called "Walking the Dog."
Okay.
Just a walking the dog, and if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk your dog. It was actually, they were trying to make a dance of it, which it did catch on for maybe just a little while, then it went away. But now I'm just wondering if anybody in chat ever has heard that song before.
It sounds familiar, but I'd have to listen to it to see if I know.
I doubt you ever heard it because it's an old one. I mean,
no, but when I was little growing up, man, I listened to all like music from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That's all I listened to when I was a little kid.
Well, you might like it. I mean, you might have heard this.
Look
I
at
never
this.
cared too much about it myself, but it would.
Shout out to Rod. Shout out to Rod. He just texted me and said, nice work, you the man, and my favorite plumber. Because I finished up a job yesterday at their church. It was a big job, and it kind of sucked. Should have took me 1 day, but it took me 3 days. But I guess he's out there repairing the cement because I had to bust up a bunch of cement. So I guess he's out there and he's seen the final product. And shout out to Rod. Thank you for the compliment, brother.
Thank you, Rod. Steve deserves it. I know he does because Steve's too good guy not to be doing a good job and a fair job at a fair price.
Yeah, definitely always fair. I was out there. I finished up last night, but I didn't leave there till a little after 8 o'clock.
Well, what'd you take so long for?
It's just that's the thing about plumbing. No two jobs are the same. And the funny thing is I could do the exact same job at a different building, like right next door, and it would take me half the time, and then do the exact same job again at another building next door to that, and it would take 3 times the amount. Like, even though it's the same thing, they're like snowflakes. No two jobs are alike.
Oh, I know. And you're right, they ain't. Believe me, when I was, it's like I used to tell people all the time, every house has its own personality. To me, it's like a human being, Every house that we built had its own personality. Because some of them, I mean, you could just build them, and snap your finger, as far as time goes. And other ones, the same exact house would take you 10 times longer than what it should. There's just no rhyme or reason to it. And they're just the same thing, But
I do that, especially with toilets. Toilets are the main, for me anyway, that's what sticks out the most. It's like, I'll be in the same house and they'll have 3 bathrooms, same toilet, same exact toilet, all of them bought at the same time, all of them installed at the same time. And they're like, I just want all 3 of them completely rebuilt. Complete rebuild. All right. So I just start out in the main floor half bathroom, and I do that. Boom, easy, 20 minutes. It's like, oh, sweet, dude, I'm gonna be out of here in no time, And I get to the second one, the hallway bathroom upstairs. And it's like, and you start running into shit. And it's like, oh yeah, this one took twice as long. And then you get to the third one in the bedroom bathroom, and you're there for 2.5 hours going, what the hell? They're all same toilet, exact same toilets. And you're doing the exact same thing on all of them.
Yeah, it's just the way it works out. I don't know why it's the same thing with building a house. I'm telling you, they all got their own personality. People can believe that or not. That's the way I always looked at it. I mean, I could feel it. After we got the house, after we was through with our part of the house, I could literally feel that the personality of that house. Maybe I was feeling my own personality. I don't know, but I think I was feeling the personality of the house. But I want to thank somebody right quick too. Give a shout out to Miss Minder Sue for that $50 donation. Thank you, Miss Minder Sue. I appreciate it very, very much.
All right, on Miss Minder Sue. Awesome.
Absolutely. Definitely awesome. Well, I'm ready to get out of here, bro. If you are, I know you're ready. So.
Yep. All right. And I'm just gonna. I want to shout out KULT News again, Mike and Stacy. You guys rock. I so appreciate you for coming on today. And
yeah, me too.
I can't even express how much I appreciate it. So it's just you made my month. That's awesome. Put it this way, my birthday was Wednesday, so that's like the best birthday present right there, having you guys on, because it was a great conversation. And keep up the great work you guys are doing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys get married.
Yeah, me too. And be sure and videotape that, because I want to see it. Before I believe it, I got to see it.
No recording. I didn't give you consent to film me.
But, V, you know I love you, V. So I shouldn't even have to ever say that again, because you know I love you already.
Yeah, V definitely knows we love her.
She has to. Well, I see Creek Squad is live. You gonna be late?
Oh, did it? Wow, 10 minutes went by quick. Okay, so yep. So with that, and then everyone in chat, thank you guys so much. Without you guys, I wouldn't even be doing this. So thank you all for being here.
Neither would I. Yes, thank each and every one of you very, very much.
And 71 likes. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
Right on. So, we should have 710, but we'll settle for that, I guess. Time.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
All right. See y'all all later. Love you, bro.
Yep. Love you, brother. We'll talk to you, man.
All right. Everybody in chat, we love all of y'all. Believe it or not, I do. And I know Steve feels the same way, because like Steve always says, there ain't going to be a show without the chat. So thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, guys. And then I'll end with this. Have a beautiful morning, beautiful day, beautiful afternoon, a beautiful evening, a beautiful night, whatever it may be, wherever you are. Much love, much aloha. And most importantly, God bless.
I'm saying we ain't never gonna run though. You playing, but you got the right one though. You can get it out, boy, we get it poppin'.
Damn good show. Aloha, everyone.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours, bullshit pay, so I could just sit here and waste my life away with Steve Harloha and Ronnie Cash today. It's such a damn shame.
It's unfiltered.
Coming in close and hot.
How do you make it out of your front door and you don't even know how to get gas? I just don't get it.
No, they're not going to take us out because they need us. We make the world go round.
You're just taking up space. You're here sucking up air.
How you doing today, brother? I hope everybody's doing great today and having a great weekend. But I said, no, let's go ahead and cook something to eat, because I'm starving to death. It ain't nothing like home cooking. She just cooked some breakfast. Well, she made scrambled eggs, with bacon, biscuits, and gravy. There ain't that much left, though, because I ate just about all of it.
It's still like 60 degrees. I'm like, ooh, I'm cold. And
it was cool when I got here, but 2 days later, I got up in the 70s, and everybody went golfing. Tuesday, Halloween, it's supposed to snow in Michigan. Last year, Chris took a picture of me shoveling the driveway in my bathing suit.
I didn't like the cold weather even when I was young, and now that's the last thing I want is cold and snow and everything.
It'll warm up, or in Michigan it won't.
You, Hawk, Chap, David Devine, my best friends on here. Then after the welcoming part, we get into the deep part when we have our guests up. Well, when we get them on, we can just shut up and let them go.
Make a beer run. That was a long time ago. Ronnie's so old that he remembers Preparation A.
I sure do.
Man.
More than likely sitting there puffing on one of them joints, you know, so.
$15 for an 8.
Gold chip.
Hey, it's pretty good.
I think that there was some shit that came over, whether it be underwater, through the ice passage in the ice wall, above water, or maybe it's just portals that can open up.
They've got certain depths that submarines can't even go to.
Any other times in your plumbing career has something sounded as crazy as the Old Faithful butthole story?
Loving this, where the guy comes in and interviews the host. This is wonderful.
This is a great story. I had so many questions.
Maybe for medical misinformation, they could go fuck themselves. We talked absolutely nothing about medical whatsoever. There's 11 full-grown German Shepherds in here right now.
My old friend told me that I look like an orange with a toothpick shoved through it.
There's a special place in hell for that.
He's supposed to be the smart one.
Round I had to kill that rooster as the rooster's gone. You're going in one ear and out the other. You're going to turn the air condition up. I know how you get hot when you're sitting in that spot. Satan himself is dwelling right there in that computer, and we are fighting against him, bro. Hey, I want y'all to keep kicking ass because y'all are kicking ass.
Oh, and Gary, this question's been on my mind for a while now. Could you please watch our show more often and keep your son in line?
I tried. Got a house, bunch of land, and a closet full of guns. Used to ride around town, bumping pocket full of stones. Now I'm on tour, popping, and I'm rocking out these shows. Still know how to lock and load. Where I'm from, we never fold. If you got a problem, come and holler at me on the road. I'm saying we ain't never gonna run though. You playing, but you got the right one though. You can get it out, boy, we get it poppin'. Run up if you want some.